Our new partner who I'm really, really excited to announce we are working with. Super, super stoked. Thank you, Angie Huberman, for this connect. It's incredible. AG1 Athletic Greens. I've been using them for a while. I have them every morning on an empty stomach. Basically, take 1 scoop and you put it into a cup or glass or mug of 8 ounces of cold water. And this is all your greens for the day. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Every day I take this. It's so good for my digestion, my energy. It's simple. It's easy. I don't like taking a lot of vitamins. This has been really, really helpful for me. I've had a lot of stomach issues my whole life, and ever since I've been gluten-free and taking the AG1s, it's really helped me in my stomach in the mornings. I love it, and I'm so psyched that they're part of the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm sure a lot of people don't like eating greens, let alone drinking your greens, but I can tell you straight up, it's got a mild tropical taste, and the taste is actually really refreshing, and I really look forward to it each morning. Don't think it's just going to be just straight bland. It tastes really, really good, and it's good for you, so remember that. This one blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. It's incredible, just 1 scoop, especially for musicians who are vegans or just musicians in general who want to get those daily greens. You can get the packets. It's incredible. I just gave some to my friend Derek from Sepultura. He traveled the whole entire world this summer, and he had those every single day. He said it saved him. I bring AG1s with me when I travel. It helps me stay healthy. You know the deal. If you're on tour and you are a picky eater, but you need to have your greens, sometimes catering doesn't have greens. Sometimes you miss the catering. Sometimes you miss the backstage food. Sometimes it's too late after the show to go get food that you like. So if you just have a scoop of AG1s in your hotel room before you go to bed, or you're in the hotel room at night and you're starving, you want something healthy, boom, life changer. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with some convenient daily nutrition. That's all you need. 1 scoop in a cup every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. This is it. I'm super psyched. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/OLLC. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/OLLC to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. This is incredible. I love it. It's just basic greens. For me personally, this has changed my life tremendously. I'm not a junk food vegan. I don't eat a lot of fake meats, so I'm strictly greens. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful new addition to my life. So once again, visit athleticgreens.com/OLLC. and get 1 free year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. athleticgreens.com/OLOC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. They have now blessed me with my own code. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have on the podcast sitting in front of me, my friend Sean Wotherspoon, and I finally said his name right. I've been thinking about this for weeks, talking to people about it. Watched the video last night. The spelling's insane. But thank you for being here, dude.
No, you nailed it. Thanks.
I really appreciate you being here. I'm trying to think when we first met. How many years ago that was, or how we met through, maybe it was through the Vegan Illuminati or something.
I was going to say it had to be through sneakers maybe. Like, that tends to be a vehicle of friendships for me.
Yeah.
We had a lot in common, I guess, like some similar friends groups, vegan, sneakers. Yeah. We met somewhere in there, you know?
I feel like all the vegans are kind of connected in a certain way.
Yeah. And when we first opened our Round 2 store out here, maybe 2016, I'm sure maybe we met like in the store or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of forget.
Or just hearing name, or just hearing, we'll get to all the sneaker stuff later, but just hearing about the sneaker and this ultimate vegan sneaker, which we'll get to, which was something growing up I never had option to have in my life. And we could talk about all that later, like wearing canvas and all that crazy shit, living in the winter and not wanting to wear leather. But I do want to take you back to Ashburn, Virginia, where you're born.
Dope. Yo, actually, so I'm born in New Jersey.
So the internet's all
Oh,
lies.
dude, the internet. I've actually, my mom has sent me a few times. She's been like, "Do you know the internet like knows like very little actually about you, like based on some facts?" But yo,
So New Jersey.
I'm born in Neptune, New Jersey.
Wow. Okay, let's get it right.
My whole family's actually New Yorkers and New Jerseyans.
New Jersey.
You know what I'm saying?
Garden State.
Yeah, and so that's where I was born. Grew up there for a few years. And then just always spent my summers going back to like upstate New York to visit my grandparents, or New Jersey to visit my other grandparents. So yeah, that's where it was. But my family moved to Virginia. My dad was working in New York City and commuting to the city, and then his job moved him to like outside DC, and then that's when we moved to Virginia. Yeah.
And so that's the part of Virginia you moved to?
Yep, Northern Virginia, like outside DC.
Okay.
Fairfax.
And that was a big change going from, gotta be from that area to the Virginia, right? Big kind of.
You know,
how old were you?
I was young actually, so I don't know if the change like affected me too much. It kind of always felt like home to me.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, was in public school, made a lot of friends out there, right outside DC, super diverse area. So it was like really cool, you know, kind of got to experience all walks of life.
Yeah. And you have siblings?
I have siblings. Yeah. I have my sister, Sarah. She's younger than me. I also have another, she just had a child actually. She's like in her late, maybe she's 30 actually. Okay. And so it's cool. I have a younger brother who's in his early 20s. I have two other, and who I always consider him, I mean, he's my brother for life, but like we're half brothers.
Okay.
So same mom, different dads, half, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
half. Mm-hmm. And then I have two stepbrothers, Jack and Finn, who again, like I would never use like the terms like step or half.
Yeah.
These are like we're just brothers. But again, like Jack and Finn, they're man, Jack's about to have his driver's license.
Wow.
Finn is like Finn's like selling sneakers on StockX and stuff. He's like, I think Finn's around 14 or so. Man, I wish, but you know, same dad, different moms type thing. And so
it's a big fam.
Yeah, we have a big fam. You know, we're spread out. It's cool.
It's crazy you say about kids doing that, because my son was into that too for a second. Like it's almost like kids are, it's not like a job, but kids are finding ways to make money. Not the traditional ways, like buying and flipping shoes, and like you said, it's a whole different world.
Although it's not traditional too, you're learning a traditional sense of making a profit margin.
Yeah.
Building a business, scaling it, which is really cool. It's like cool to talk on the phone with my like young, early teens brother, and he's, you know, essentially running his own little business. And actually, it started with candy with him.
Oh, wow.
So, dude, check it.
Selling candy at school or something?
Yeah, my dad hit me up. My dad's like, you would never believe it. Your little brother, Finn, he's going to Costco with us, buying bulk candy and like breaking it down at school and selling it to kids, then using his money to buy a pair of shoes on StockX. And I was like, low-key proud. I'm like, this is for sure my brother. And I'm like, okay, also dad, same dad, different moms. You are the hustler in the family.
Yeah.
Figured that out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so, but it was cool, like hearing that he does that. And dude, I was like, yo, I'm about to go to Japan, Finn. I was like, let me get you a bunch of Japanese candy. And so I sent this dude a huge box of candy from Tokyo. And dude, he was selling like truffle Pringles that I got for 100 yen over there for like $9.
Wow,
in his
imported.
School. Dude, it was so sick. This dude was selling like some really dope, like exotic Japanese candy. He made bread on it. It was really cool.
Wow, man.
Yeah, it was cool.
You just said business and entrepreneur. That's kids. It's crazy how kids are starting early like that.
To dive back even deeper, my son Nash is 6, and he just asked me if we could do a booth at the flea market.
Wow, man.
Straight
like father,
up.
like son. That's awesome, man.
I'm like tripping. It's kind of crazy.
That's so cool because he sees what you do, you know?
Yeah, and he wants to make money because he's like he's like obsessed with Lego Star Wars. So he also knows that like to get that next set, he needs to figure out how to make money.
Yeah, that's like a lot. Lego's no joke.
It's actually no joke. Yeah.
Wow, you took him to Legoland, obviously.
Oh, bro, yeah. He's like, in fact, he's like watching the YouTubes. He knows so much about Legos and Star Wars right now. I didn't even know there was that much to know.
And were you a fan of Star Wars growing up?
Mildly.
Me too, man.
It's like it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, but like I'm not like I don't know everything. He knows everything.
Dang.
And I'm like, damn. Yeah.
And so how were you growing up?
Me growing up?
What kind of kid were you?
Look, I was born in 1990. Damn. Yeah.
That's crazy.
My mom worked at Gap, so she always had me as like, you know, a done up little Gap kid kind of growing up, but I played soccer. Soccer was a huge part of my life before skateboarding. Okay. I played for probably almost 10 years. travel soccer, and probably that would have been like my future going forward if I would have stuck with it.
You're serious about it.
But I was really serious about it. Yeah. But then one day, and I was always mildly into skating. My dad and my uncle are surfers.
Okay.
My uncle's a skater. My dad can skate, not a skater. You feel me?
Yeah.
But they taught me how to skate and surf when I was like, 12. And
Awesome.
so skateboarding had always been this part of my life, but I was like a soccer player. And my dad, when my parents got divorced, actually, my dad moved to Leesburg, Virginia, and that's where you get the Ashburn Park, because my mom lived in Ashburn. My dad moved to Leesburg, and there was a skate park in the town. And then I just started going to the skate park every day.
How old are you then?
Maybe like 14,
Okay.
2004. And so,
That's so crazy.
I just started skateboarding, going to the park every day, and it won me over soccer.
Wow.
Like I started to find myself wanting to go to the park to skate more than
not soccer practice.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where it switched for me, and I became a skater, and
That was it.
I even switched schools I was going to school in Ashburn where my mom was living, but I switched to go to the high school where my dad was living in Leesburg because it was cool as shit. Like Leesburg was so dope, dude. My homies were skating to class.
Wow.
Like they would meet at my friend Travis's house and skate to school.
That's cool, man.
But then I was catching the end of it because I was from a different town. So like my mom would like drop me off at the skate park like after school, and I was like, all right, I need to move to Leesburg and like skate the town with these guys.
Yeah. Well, were you just a street skater?
I was more of like a park rat, but
Okay.
we skated a lot of street. Like we were definitely throwing ourselves downstairs. I think like, my biggest set when I was younger was maybe like a 10 stair, that we all eat or something. This was cool. But, we always hit some handrails. We would go to DC.
Yeah.
My claim to fame was like a lip slide down Gold Rail, which is pretty cool. If,
awesome.
Some of the old heads might recognize Gold Rail.
Yeah.
It's a sick one. But yeah, skateboarding played a huge part in it for me, actually.
And how were you as a student? Like a good student?
No, I wasn't really a great student, and not even that I'm proud of that at this point. Like, but it wasn't like a malicious bad student. It was just I was so bored in school.
Same.
I was bored out of my mind in there, dude. So
Yeah.
I was constantly like class clown shit, just like acting out.
Center of attention.
Making it tough for other people to learn. Now that I look back,
Yeah.
Those who had an interest in it, skateboarding through the halls, teachers chasing us,
Wow.
like we love to get in trouble, bringing the little stink bombs in, doing
gnarly.
them in the cafeteria, everyone clearing out. Like we liked to get in trouble, summer school every year, like.
And were your parents strict?
It was like, probably not actually. My mom wasn't too strict. Like she always gave me the benefit of the doubt, you know, and like always had my back. So she wasn't super strict, but definitely kept us in line.
Yeah.
And my dad was a little bit more strict. Like I was always more scared to bring him a report card with an F as opposed to my mom.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I think like but overall they were pretty open. Like they kind of let us have freedom.
Yeah. And what about like partying? Were you like a party kid?
I liked to party, back in high school. Yeah, I was into it. I drank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't I probably haven't like partied or drank alcohol in like 10 plus years.
Wow.
It just was never really exciting for me, but I liked doing it to hang out with my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I was more like excited to skate, to
That
be
was it,
honest.
man.
Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. Like I'll go to the party like 2 hours after you guys because we're still skating downtown right now. And so like I know you guys are going to the party at 6, but like we'll be there at 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're gonna skate there, and we're skating spots on the way. So it was really trying to put skating first, and like we'd even skip school to skate, dude. We built like tree forts and ramps in the woods. And,
Tree forts and ramps? Wow.
dude, we had a 3-story tree fort called.
Okay.
It was called Hobo Mansion because. There would be other people sleeping there usually.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying? That would clear out, and then we would kind of take it over and do our like skate thing. But like,
That's cool.
yeah, it was cool, man. We had our spots. It was sick.
Did you want to ever be sponsored?
I did. That was the dream.
Did you have a goal? That was your dream.
Yeah, dude. Like, how I always felt like I was like Flow with some brand. We knew the rep for Soltech,
Okay.
S America, and Etnies, Harrison Montgomery. Shout out to Harrison,
Shout out to
actually.
Harrison.
Because, like when I moved to Leesburg, it was like this like lore where you could go to like knock on his door and get some socks.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like skater kids in the town like found his address.
Oh, wow.
And you would go knock on his door and be like, yo, Harrison, like you got any swag? And he might
punishing him.
throw you some Etnies Cali cuts. You know what I'm saying? And some stickers and some
He
socks.
was cool.
He was cool as shit, dude. Harrison was dope. He put on for us, you know, and he started to definitely flow us gear and things, but that was always the goal to get sponsored. I never was. You know, I worked
doing contests and stuff?
I did contests, always placed, you know, first through third. Always did well. You know, I could skate a park.
Yeah.
That was our thing. Like, dude, we grew up in a town with a park.
Yeah.
We skated it from on weekends, 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. You know, like, and they did competitions at our park. So it was like home turf shit. It was like, dude,
that's cool.
Come from out of town, skate our park for a competition. Nah, we're taking top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
You know?
There's something beautiful about that growing up skating, just like spending all those hours just skating and trying the same trick over and over again and finally landing it, and that feeling you get, that high. It's just like, it's undescribable, man.
It's emotional, dude. We watched back. My friend Omar filmed everything we did our entire childhood. And there's videos of me trying tricks and just to a point where I would just start crying. You know what I mean?
Feel that,
like,
man.
dude,
Yeah.
like there was this video of me like doing this ollie off of this like shed that must have been like 6 or 7 feet tall. And I kept doing it and I was like, Omar, I was like, my ankles hurt so bad. He's like, do it, you fucking pussy. And I'm trying. And I would like go back up and I would try to ollie off and I'm like landing. You can see my legs are like trembling. And I just remember like you would try so hard. You know what I mean? It was trying to get that clip, trying to put a sponsor tape together. Like
such a big deal doing that back then.
It was cool, dude. It was fun. Yeah.
Would you ever release like a documentary?
I think that'd be dope. Yeah, I would love to one day. The story's not over yet, though.
It's not over yet. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So, what was like your goals? So that was pretty much your. How about art? How about like art and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, like skateboarding kind of got me into art. So my friend Omar, who was filming us, his dad actually gave him the opportunity to open a skate shop in 2005. So in 2005, Omar's 17, I'm 15. He opened a skate shop, and I ran it with him.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it was sick. We did all the orders. We threw an art show. Because all of our friends, like our friend Graham, who ended up filming the Round 2 show, photographer. Our friend Bobby, who's actually an artist out here now, street artist. Okay. We had so many friends that were so talented, and we wanted to use our space to highlight them. And think, I'm 15 at the time, and me and Omar are like, let's throw an art show. And we threw this like dope art show. Like, it was sick, dude. It was a really cool community. Yeah, it was sick.
So were you working there and going to school?
I was working in there and going to school. I would even like skip school just to work in there. It was so sick, dude. I loved being in there. You know, like and just being the guy behind the counter at the skate shop was cool. You're gripping the boards for kids.
Yeah.
You got like a cool video on in the background. Like kids looked up to you as being like the cool dude at the skate shop. So it was sick.
And what was that? Were you into fashion there too, or?
Like mildly. You know, being a skateboarder, you're always, whether you like it or not, into fashion, art, music,
it's true.
Culture as a whole.
It's true.
You know what I mean? You could deny it all day, but you're into it. And because even that's where I learned it, like, I didn't purposely get into music. I just would watch a skate video, for example, maybe Yeah Right, which has a phenomenal soundtrack. Okay. And I might hear a song by The Cardigans that I didn't ever fucking know.
True.
But it resonated with me. Then I'm looking up the soundtrack. There was a website back in the day that had all the soundtracks for all the skate movies listed. I think it was like Skate Music or some shit like that.com. And you would look it up and you could find the soundtrack and you're like, oh shit, you know, that song from Brian Anderson's part or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you would download it and then you'd find more music from that artist.
It's cool.
And so like it really was my vehicle into so much. And then even being like a fan of your favorite skater, the Pro Model board was always art. It was always art.
Beautiful art, man.
Whether
cool
it was
art.
By the skater themselves, by an artist who they knew, by some artists you didn't know, but then you had discovery there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then it's like, that's how you find out about Pusshead artwork. That's how you find out about Kozik. You know what I'm saying? That's how you find out about Brian Donnelly, Cause and stuff. And it's like, that's how you find out about these different artists through skateboarding. It was so crazy. So it was like, no, I wasn't into fashion. No, I wasn't into art or music, but I was into skateboarding, which subconsciously made me a fan of all that.
It's so true. I'm thinking back of like Nadas Kappas and Gonzalez and Neil Blender and all their artwork and Mike Vallely and like all those colorful,
all those early
boards.
Powell shirts and
just thinking about the Vision Streetwears from my generation, the Jimmy Z's and all the gear everybody rocked in the 80s and listen to watching Bones Brigade and hearing all those punk bands. And then I checked out the same thing. It's just a different generation.
It's always offered such discovery, you know, like what a great vehicle to just like variety.
Yeah.
I was always so grateful for skateboarding because even like looking back at our video of us skating, it's like my homie Omar's family, Middle Eastern, his whole family is from Iraq,
Wow.
and we always shared that with him, like going to his house and his mom making us like these phenomenal, like traditional meals that to this day, nothing's ever compared to.
I'm sure.
And like learning about his culture and his history, and then all of our friends, like, everyone just seemed to be from somewhere completely different, but we all lived in Northern Virginia, and it was cool just being able to discover that. It's pretty cool.
I love that skateboarding is like that. Also music, but skateboarding brings all kinds of people together, and you just all be for the love of just skating. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it still does to this day. It's crazy.
And it opened my mind so much as a kid, and I absorbed it all. I was taking it all and watching the videos and what people were rocking and the different tricks. It just,
dude, the trends that have went through skateboarding that have then evolved into fashion and seeped into runway shows,
seeped into civilians' life, and other people's lives don't even skate.
It's incredible. It really
and
is.
This how long it's been here for, and that too as well.
It's been a short amount of time in perspective, right? Like when you think about skateboarding, it hasn't been around nearly as long as some of these trends that are 100+ years. Levi's has been making jeans over 100 years.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
So skateboarding 70s, right?
Yeah,
Probably.
right?
Yeah.
70s, late 60s maybe.
Yeah.
Serious skating, 70s. So, I mean, it's young. What are we, 50 years old skateboarding?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's not bad.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
So you graduated?
Graduated what?
School.
Like high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't go to college.
Yeah.
Tried it.
You just when you graduated,
gave it a whirl.
You tried college.
Yeah, but not
What
right
major?
away. No major. Was there a major? Do you have to pick one? I don't know. Was it mandatory to have one to go? I don't know.
I don't know. I never went either.
Okay, maybe there was one. I don't know what I chose, but I was just still living in like Leesburg.
Mm-hmm.
I had actually moved out of my parents' house when I was like 17 because my homie Omar, who owned the shop, he was like, "Yo, instead of a paycheck, you can live in this room at the crib." And I was like, "Dope." Got my own room at this house on the border of like Maryland and Virginia.
Wow.
It was pretty sick. Pretty young, like 17 or so. So that was like fun. And I think like, man.
Just skating and working there.
Just skating and working, yeah. And then my dad was like passively aggressively kind of saying like, dude, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, what's the grand scheme? And I was like, I want to live in New York City. Because he was like, where do you want to live? He was like, because he's essentially saying you have to move from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like, where do you need to go? I can help you try to get there. And I was like, yeah, I want to live in New York. I was like, I think that's where I want to be. And he was like, yeah, how about we do a starter city first? Because my dad's, a New Yorker. He's worked in Manhattan and lived in New York his whole life. You know what I mean? Upstate, and spent a lot of time in the city. And so he knew that it was like...
I like a starter city. I like that.
Yeah. He hit me with the starter city. Like, cool. But then I was like, yeah, well, what about like Richmond, Virginia? I'm like, have you ever heard of it? I had never been before. I was like, my friend Graham and a few other friends just moved there to go to this school, VCU. I was like, maybe I'll move there. And this was on a Friday. And my dad's like, all right. He's like, let's find a place. And we went on Craigslist and we found an apartment that was $400. It was $650 a month. Still. 2 bedrooms though. So my goal was to get a roommate and only pay like $250 or $300.
That's wild.
And got the spot. We left Monday. Packed a U-Haul trailer with all my shit. This dude took me to Richmond, dropped my ass off.
And what about your boy at the skate shop? Was he bummed?
Omar? Oh man, I could get in that story forever. Omar had his own problems.
Okay.
I ended up like really being like the sole runner of that store.
Okay.
And it went out of business in 2008 because I actually like wanted to inherit it from him, but his dad was like really honoring him and saying like, this is Omar's store and like I can't give it to a friend. You know what I mean? Okay. And so like if it's not going to be ran by Omar, it can't be ran. I respect that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I respect that. It's like that's his son. You know what I mean? I'm not. So it's cool. And so the store closed in 2008. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So your goal was just to get out to a city and start skating. There was nothing about...
My first day in Richmond, dude, I just put on headphones and got lost on a skateboard.
Wow.
Got my cruiser and I just rode as far as I could in the city. Got lost as shit. Had no idea where I was. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, keep skating, and just like skated around and just found shit. Found stores and called friends and started meeting up with people. It's cool.
You made your first job there?
Yeah, first job there is at a buy sell trade boutique store called Rumors Boutique, which is really what inspired round 2.
Okay.
And Rumors was primarily women's.
Okay.
And so they opened me up. Actually, I had never really went to a thrift store before I moved to Richmond.
Okay.
We grew up in Leesburg, and there was an outlet mall there. So we were savvy shoppers. We were always like eBayers, always like going to the outlet because we knew we could buy some cheap there. Like I worked at Levi's outlet, I worked at Saks, I worked at Barney's, Diesel, you name it. Like we all bopped around the outlets. You know what I mean? That was the hustle. And so anyways, like I was working at Rumors and I'm like, this is cool. You know, like Richmond showed me thrift stores. Like I remember the first time I went into Rumors before I worked there, I had gotten like a 90s Polo Bear polo shirt.
Nice.
And I'm like, damn. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I know these are pretty expensive at the polo store right now because I shop there at the mall. Yeah. I was like, that's crazy that this one's $10. I'm like, and it's vintage. And then I'm like weird about, you know, like I'm like a senses guy.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, I'm like, this is even better quality. I'm like, this is crazy. And then since I was like a shoe eBayer, I'm like, let me look this up on eBay. And then I'm like, whoa, someone's selling one for like 60 plus. And then that's when it clicked.
Okay.
And I was like, dope. That's how I'll make money out here in Richmond, is going to thrift stores and going to auctions. And that's when I found out about Goodwill bins, which is hot right now. But I was doing that 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that just going through a whole bunch of stuff?
Goodwill has the outlet where they put everything in bins and you buy by the pound.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's like really like hype right now. But back then it was like in Richmond, just me. Like there may have been one other dude, I think his Instagram's Picking Vintage. Okay. And he was the other like OG out there who did the bins, but that was it. And that's how I survived. You can, on YouTube, you can find this like old video that my friend Graham filmed over 10 years ago before we had round 2 of me. I had a beach cruiser, like women's bike that I would like ride to the thrift stores and I have like trash bags hanging from it of all the stuff I bought. Wow. Then I would like go home, lay it out, and I would call friends who I thought might like it. I'd be like, yo, Steve, this is my homie Steve. Scuba Steve is what we called him. Okay. I would be like, yo, Scuba, like, I just got this purple polo with like the aqua blue horse. Like, I know you got the aqua 8s. And he's like, bro, you know me. And I'm like, I know you. I'm like, $20, come through. And like, he would come through, give me $20. I'd sell him the shirt. I got it for a couple dollars. And this just became my life, dude, of just curating shit at my house, calling my friends over.
Your house, yeah.
At my house, calling my friends over. And I would set up a room in my house, like almost like a store, like what round 2 ended up looking like.
Yeah.
And friends would come by and shop. And they would bring like another friend through sometimes. Sometimes I'd meet a random dude on the street.
Wow.
That's how I met some of my best friends. I met just a dude would be like, yo, like, that's a fly ass polo hat. And I'd be like, you want to buy one? I have some at my house. And dudes would come through my house and buy like a dope polo hat. Then they would tell a friend, and I was like the secret spot.
Wow.
It's kind of tight.
And then what was like your sneaker game at that point? Were you heavily into it?
I was heavy into it, dude. Like the biggest sneakerhead
and
ever.
Said eBay sneakers. So
eBay and sneakers, dude. I was like going to the thrift stores and coming up. I was coming up, dude. I would go to the thrift store at Richmond and get like 12 pairs of Jordans, dude. Like retros, like Cardinals, Aqua 8s.
Wow.
You know, Flint 7s, like random shit, Cool Gray 4s, like Fire Red 4s, like just the dopest shit. It was just almost dime a dozen out there, dude. And I had so many sneakers. And then fast forward, we opened round 2 and I started to make a little bit of money, which I spent every single penny of at the mom and pop store on our same block, Sunny Menswear. Okay. You had to show him money to get in the front door. Literally. Wow. I would spend my breaks there. Him and his wife would make me these like Chinese spinach lock keys or some shit like that. They were so fucking good. And I would just buy all the shoes he had. He had everything from like the 80s till like 2000s Timberlands, Dolomite boots, Timberland, all that shit. And I just started buying like the best like 90s beef and broccolis from him. Like really dope shit, dude. I just would buy. And I amassed like 400 plus pairs of shoes.
Wow. Yeah. And so how old are you then?
This was 20s? This was 20s, probably like 22. It was just before round 2 opened, which was in 2013. So I was like 22, 21.
When you opened that up, the first one?
I was 23, yeah.
Wow. And did you have a place to open up? You had a whole bunch of things you had bought already? And like.
So me and my partners, Chris and Luke, Chris was also doing what I was doing, and we had put our stuff together and called it round 2. Okay. So we had like kind of created this business round 2 out of a closet, out of a storage unit. We rented it at U-Haul for $400 a month. and they told us that we could bring people in for appointments within their hours. Actually, we were like, can we bring people in here to like sell them things? The guy's like, are you selling drugs? We were like, no, it's closed. He's like, do whatever you want then. He's like, it's your unit.
Wow.
We're like, all right, tight. So we would take appointments from like 12 noon to 5 p.m.
That's crazy.
It was sick.
Just word of mouth and stuff too.
In 2012. And then 2013, Chris was like, yo, my friend who has a head shop on Broad Street is like moving to Colorado to grow his business. And he said we can take over his lease. It's only $750 a month.
$700 a month.
Yeah.
Wow,
and we talked to the landlord, and the landlord was like, you don't need to give me a security deposit. Just pay the first month's rent of $750.
Dude.
Yeah. It's cool.
So that's how you were surviving the whole time, pretty much. Did your parents know what you were doing, like flipping clothes?
Yeah,
and all that
no,
stuff?
they were pretty proud of it actually, because like
Yeah.
I was self-sufficient at that point, where I was constantly the dude hitting my parents up for $20, 9 a.m. every day. Hey dad, could you throw 20 in my account?
Yeah.
Hey dad, could you throw another 20 in? What happened to the 20 I gave you yesterday? I spent it. You have to learn to save. And it's like, fuck. Like, how do you save $20 a day? It's tough. I'm like, geez, man. You know, and I'm living in a college town, you know?
Yeah.
And anyways, though, so yeah, it felt really good. Like they were proud that I was able to sell things on eBay and make some kind of money.
And then open a store, though.
And open a store. Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you ever have any thoughts back then of designing clothes or making anything? Or
No, not really. I can say like I never had the idea of being a designer or anything like that. I always knew that I wanted to like run my own business, just because I always had trouble working for someone else.
Yeah.
But I always did have the energy to work. Like it's not that I don't want to work. I'm not lazy by any means.
Yeah.
I just have trouble working for you specifically. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Did you get work ethic? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I just knew that I wanted to do that. But even to this day, it's like, I'm still like, am I truly a designer, or am I just like really decisive about decisions and what I personally like? Mm-hmm. You know, I find myself always arguing with that, because I don't quite take the definition as a designer, because I also am like an artist, but I'm also a collector and kind of like a curator or whatever. And so it's a lot of things. So if anything, I'm just very decisive. You could ask me a question about anything, I can give you an answer. No questions asked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About if I like a piece of art, or if I like the color you used on your refrigerator back there. Like it's an easy yes or no.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, which by the way, I love it. It's great. It's
thank you.
phenomenal.
So round 2 opens up, and then is
Yeah.
it like a instant awesome thing, or was it a hard road, or people were stoked? And
it was different because like no one at that time, it's hard to put into perspective, but we were the only store of our kind. The only other thing that existed was Flight Club, Riff, and I think maybe Stadium Goods.
Okay.
But these were all consignment-based stores.
Yeah.
So very rarely at our level were you able to walk into a store and get cashed out. And so it became like it was unbelievable. We brought such a new thing to the city and then the world in general when we started putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And like, man, we started a wave. We really did. But again, like we were learning to this day, every 24 hours that goes by, I'm constantly learning through round 2. Still every single day on how to run a business through, you know, mistakes and trials and tribulations and etc. It's like round 2's been just such a learning project, you know?
Yeah, and even just think about like knowing what something's worth when somebody brings it in, like having that knowledge and knowing everything about.
That goes with being decisive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we opened, there wasn't a market. You couldn't go on StockX and be like, oh, well, we're opening a resale store. What should we be buying Chicago Jordan 1s at? Well, here's what the other market's paying for them.
It's true.
That was not a thing. And we also didn't open the store based on, the word reseller was very rarely used. You know, we were a boutique store in our eyes because we were curating what we liked. It wasn't just vintage. It was everything. Everything under the sun. It could have came out yesterday. It could come out next week. It could have came out in the 70s. Cool shit. We put it all in one store. Yeah. And so it was like we weren't doing things for the monetary gain. We were doing it because we knew we had something to offer that no one else did. And so that's really how things did change and it became more of a business, was us starting to pay attention to margins and things like that. But it always was a guessing game where someone would bring something in and we were like, well, how cool do we think this is? We'd ask them, what do you want for them? You know, and the person like, I don't fucking know. I bought them for 100 retail and I wore them for a couple years. And we're like, shit, 40?
Yeah.
We'll sell them for 90? A little less than you bought them for? We don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And so really every sneaker, thousands and thousands of shoes and clothes coming through the store, was so much R&D in just testing what a consumer liked and how much they were willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? It was
even the t-shirts too, like the throwback hip hop shirts, and just so many.
All that
I've gotten
stuff,
stuff from you guys too, like all the shirts and just what era they're from, what condition they're in, with the tag say BPT, just different things like that. Like trying to like know if it's real or not, or just reprinted, or just.
And that stuff didn't even matter too much before like social media really grew. Like, yeah, you were deciphering between bootlegs and fakes and stuff, but it wasn't so like consumer facing that it is now, that everyone was like holding the knowledge of knowing what their preferred tag is for a vintage t-shirt.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like with the growth of social media came like knowing prices, there being a market, being able to reference. Like, it's so funny thinking back when we opened in 2013, and maybe one person selling you something every few weeks would be like, well, I did see one sold for this price on this weird ass eBay seller or something. And you'd be like, okay, here's a gauge. But outside of that, in Facebook groups, there wasn't much. But it's cool seeing how it would grow. And then the more people would just be showing you their phone at the back counter, like, well, I follow this person that sold it for this much. And you're like, oh shit, okay. You know, and so as social media grew, we're like, wow, there's a real market here that's like growing. It's interesting.
Yeah, and so how long did you have? How long was so you just having round two? That was the first store, and you had that for how long before you opened the second one?
Probably just like a couple years, I think, and then.
But in those years, you do that did the contest for Nike?
Nah. So
that's later, because
that came in 2016, I think.
2016.
Yeah, and that was like the first year we moved to California. Round two kind of just like popped off, you know.
The Melrose one?
Yeah, the Melrose one. It kind of popped off.
And for a person that spent a lot of time on Melrose with my kid, he had daycare over there, and there was some other stores there, and M Cafe, the spot I always eat at with my son. I saw in my own eyes, you know, as an older person, you know, taking my son, like I want to say revived it. But when round two came there, I just brought a whole new energy and kind of brought that street back to life, I think, personally.
It was a spot to chill.
Yeah.
You could literally like hit someone up and they might be going to round two same time as you, and it was like the dopest spot to meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then chances are maybe like Yachty's in there shopping, or Cardi, or whoever. Like your favorite artist from any genre could have been in there. Angelina Jolie's been in there. I mean, who knows?
Wow.
You know, so that was a fun time. But I mean, speaking on the Air Max thing, like that was... So it's funny going through, because there's these points in my life that changed everything.
Yeah.
Skateboarding for me changed everything.
Yeah.
Moving to Richmond changed everything. Moving to California changed everything. The Air Max changed everything, because that's when I was like, whoa, am I a designer?
Yeah.
Like, I'm designing product. Whoa, the whole world responded to it. Man, I garnered support from all these friends I had met through round two. And so that's where shit like really changed, you know what I mean? And like the whole trajectory of kind of what I thought I was going to be when I was just going to skate parks every day really flip-flopped, you know?
And then they just buying like clothes and put them, but even just that store, like the kind of people that were coming in that store compared to like a store, I'm sure people came through in Virginia too as well, but now you're in Hollywood, now you're in fucking Melrose.
Totally
like,
different.
And like you just said, some of the people would come in there and like, it's crazy, man. It's just a totally different world, man.
We only had two, maybe, I think like a handful of celebrities come by when we were in Richmond. The first real celebrity we ever had come through, I don't know who came through first. It was either DJ Clark Kent or it was Wale.
Wow. Shout
out to my homie Orly, because he was doing photography for Wale at the time and brought him through in his whole tour bus, parked it out front. But, you know, maybe Clark Kent came through first. I think Clark Kent actually to this day holds like the title for being like the person who found round two.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. He was like the first person that was like anyone who like discovered us.
He's the biggest Air Force One head, dude. Like sneakerhead, legit.
I remember waking up the day he was in Richmond, Virginia, and he was staying at the Jefferson Hotel. And he did a post. If anyone remembers back in the day, I don't know if Clark does it anymore. He should get back to it, but he used to hide shoes in whatever city he was going to. And he would do a post on his Instagram with 3 clues. And you would have to find the shoes. And I remember waking up that morning and I saw the post on his Instagram 2 minutes after he posted it. And he put 3 clues in there. And I'm like, Jefferson fucking Hotel, 7th floor. I'm out. I dipped on my skateboard. I found the shoes. I have them to this day.
No way, dude.
Easter Air Force One, size 12 and a half. I think he wears a 13, so those didn't have insoles.
That's incredible, man.
It's tight, right?
I'm sure you guys are friends by now.
Oh,
but that
good
is,
homies. Good
wow,
homies. Yeah,
that is
yeah.
incredible, man.
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
always a fan first, right? And
Yeah.
then I end up meeting these people, and I'm like, wow, like what an honor to be friends.
And so that now you're in LA, and now that store is crushing too.
Mhm.
Melrose is crushing. Virginia's crushing. And you're like, I would still see you waking up early, going to all these places, getting more stuff super early in the morning.
I'm obsessed with the flea market.
Yeah, like you never stop.
I mean, California is like, if you're like a secondhand shopper, is this not paradise?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be serious. Like in Virginia, you had to wait till Saturday to go to a flea market.
Okay.
In California, you got these things called fucking swap meets.
Oh yeah.
8 a.m. to 8 p.m., baby, every fucking day. Indoors, outdoors, you name it. I love that shit.
And you still thrive and do it. I love that.
I go out every day. Rhodium, the open air flea market, it's 7 days a week. It might be 6 days a week. I go probably on a good week, 3 days. And I'll go there at like 7 a.m. on my way to work. It's 15 minutes from our warehouse in Compton. Yeah.
So you still just love finding these gems and
love
finding it's just like
it's never slowed up. I always find a gem. Why would I stop? I love it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
It's a passion.
It's so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
And then it's become more mainstream, so I'm sharing this now with like everybody, like the same passion. And I'm going to the flea, and there's other dudes hunting, and I'm like living vicariously through everyone else. I'm like watching them come up. I'm getting more motivated to get there earlier, so I find that next time, whatever, you know.
Are there certain spots that people try to get before? It's not a competition, but
It's a competition.
Okay. If they know you're gonna pull up, or somebody's pulling up,
Okay,
who
so-
gets there first?
For sure, like, okay, in California, for me, from like 2016 to 2019, there was like 3 years where like it was a competition. I had to be there first, and I had to have it all.
You're obsessed.
And I was like competing with like these like huge, you know, Japanese buyers and like European buyers and big buyers from the US. And like I was trying to hang with the big dogs, you know? And like I saw these dudes, like, you know, we would do the thing where we would get to Rose Bowl at 2 a.m. We'd wait in the parking lot 2 hours till they opened at 4 for vendors to go in. We'd go in at 4 as a vendor so we could shop the vendors' booths, right? Ages old trick. A lot of people know it. Rose Bowl is popping now, but I want people to know there was a time when me and my homie Adam were the only 2 people in that fucking parking lot. There's another Thai dude who was buying a lot of really good Levi's at the time, but the 3 of us would be in that parking lot at 2 a.m., not another soul. And this went on for at least a year, maybe a little bit more. It was dope, but like we had to be first. But I would see these Japanese dudes, and I had never seen anything like this. Yamada, who owns Burberry stores in Tokyo, best in the world, best vintage stores in the world. I don't want to hear otherwise. You know what I mean? Like hands down, no questions asked. And I would watch him walk up to a booth and just be like, yeah, take it all. Motion with his hand and just take it all.
All of it.
Just buy it all.
Wow, man.
And I was like, whoa, dudes are doing that?
And they bring it all back. Wow,
Whoa.
dude.
And so like I remember going to Rose Bowl when the polo shit was like really popping and like searching for low, right? And I remember there is this moment, like this defines like competition, right? I remember walking up to a dude's booth and I see a P-Wing pocket tee there. And another Japanese dude saw it at the same time as me. We're still friends to this day. I always would be like my main competitor. You know what I mean? But like friendly competition. We both saw it, and I remember we both are like running. This fool dives and grabs it. Dove and grabbed it.
Wow.
Ended up getting this P-Wing shirt for like $20, which was sick. I immediately turned around and I was like, I give you $120 for it. You know what I mean? Like that hype to get, because I was just excited, you know?
So that happens like right on the spot? Like
in the spot, dude. It's like, boom, let me get that from you. You know what I mean? Then the seller's like, what the fuck? You know?
Holy crap, man.
Rose Bowl was fun. The flea markets here are cool, dude. It's a cool community. Everyone knows each other. Whether you're intimidated by the next person or not, it's fun, dude.
But now it's become really popular.
It's really popular now, yeah.
So there's a lot of people coming early like you.
Everyone, yeah. That's the thing. Like, if you're not there early, you're just like not there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people know you, and they see you. They know what you're getting, what you're doing, and
yeah, most you know, there's people who have definitely like surpassed me at this point that are like the hot dudes on the street. You know, I'm kind of like, you know, a little more washed up at this point. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, there's dudes now who.
But it's a community. It's like
it's all about who's ever like popping at the time. And so there was a time when I was getting there first, and I'm walking through, and I'm doing the thing where it's like, okay, I'll take all those. Oh, the whole pile of teas you saved for me? Cool, I'll take it all.
You start doing that.
Yeah, doing that thing where I'm like, cool, you saved all those for me? I'll take it all. You know what I mean? Oh, you saved this for me? Cool, I'll take it all. So then everyone's saving shit for you.
Wow.
And you're really investing in these sellers, and like you're providing a consistent income for them, so they're providing consistent product for you.
And where they shop? Where they getting all their stuff at?
Who knows? You don't ask, really. You let them do their hustle. And, you know, rag houses, warehouses, Texas, whatever. You know what I mean? Mexico, could be from anywhere. Europe. And so, like, everyone finds their little plug. But, yeah, that was cool. And so there's always, you know, there's new dudes. Like, I'll go to Rose Bowl now, and I take the slow route. And I watch the new young hustlers. And they're, you know, it's funny because the sellers have their racks.
Yeah.
Then they have their van. And then they have the doors open in the van. And then you see who's in the back of the van. You're like, that's the new young hustler.
Wow.
Because they're getting the van access. They're buying mad bulk. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
And so it's just cool, like, seeing these things evolve, like, in front of your eyes, being like, all right, cool. Like, look at these dudes doing their hustle. They got bags full of shit.
New generation.
Yeah, it's cool, man. And seeing what people are into, you know?
Have you traveled out of the country to get stuff?
I revolve around it.
Okay.
Yeah, like all my travel,
carrying tons of stuff back to American.
Every time, like, I mean, dude,
can't stop.
I've been to Indonesia, China, Japan, all over Europe. Like you name it. I've been all over the place, and I'm constantly buying as much vintage as humanly possible when I'm shopping or when I'm traveling. Yeah.
Just carrying all bags, buying
Yeah,
bags.
I mean, I just love, first off, I love supporting businesses abroad.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that feels better than to be like, oh my gosh, like, there's margin in this product that I can buy from you and support you and bring back, and then also support my staff in my stores as well. So
yeah,
it feels good at a certain point being able to, you know, shop out there and support, you know, some other people doing the same thing as you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Japan crushes with that too, man.
Crushes.
Yeah,
crushes.
Is a certain place you love to go, and you know you can find like awesome stuff.
Tokyo, I mean, Japan in general, it's my favorite place in the entire world.
I have to agree. I've been there 12 times now in my life.
There you
Played
go.
there 12
Love
times.
That.
I'm sure
Love
even
that.
100 times. But like it's incredible.
I mean, dude, how was it performing there? I mean,
it's
like
amazing.
The ultimate fans, right? Not to disregard like any other fans, but like, I mean, there's something about, you know, the love you get and, you know, just receive out there. Like,
I mean, kids would definitely bow and at me before they stage dived.
Yeah.
When the song's over, people are completely quiet because they want to let you speak. They're not going crazy cheering. They let you
want to hear what you have to say, you know, like true fans interested. Like, what's Toby going to say? What's going to come out of his mouth? I'm dying for his every word. I can't wait.
Yeah. And just going back there, back in the, I went there early 90s where there was like no graffiti on the trains or the buses. People parked their bikes with no locks.
Yep. It's still like that. Straight up.
People wearing masks out of respect if they had a cold, which I always thought was incredible back then. Just being respectful. Just, it was hard to be vegan back then going there, but now my brother was just there with the band he's with. He sent me pictures like in front of a vegan restaurant. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It took a while for Japan to, even though there's rice and there's like sushi and avocado and there's tofu, but it was hard back then, man.
Yeah, I feel that. I couldn't imagine actually. I bet that was tough.
But now it's like thriving.
Some of the best vegan food I've ever had in my entire life.
I haven't been there in years,
bro,
so I can.
You would go insane.
Wow.
Okay, so a few spots just off top. Vegan Izakaya Masaka. It's in the Parco Mall, bottom floor. My stomach's churning right now thinking about it. It is the most phenomenal traditional Japanese and also Chinese food I've ever had.
Okay.
Like vegan aside, just ever.
Okay.
You know, and then there's another spot called this one's in Omotesando. It's called Jangara, vegan Jangara. And so this spot has like a creamy vegan ramen, like just some of the best shit I've ever had. And then, you know, Superiority Burger from New York is out there. Pizzanista's out there.
Pizzanista is?
Yeah.
So is M Cafe.
M Cafe. That's crazy. Wow. Earth Cafe is out there.
Do you know what else? You know Beverly Hills Juice?
Yeah.
There's like a one that's like it's not a bootleg version, but it's like that. Looks just
sick.
like, and they have juice there. I couldn't
love
believe it.
Nah, so many great options out there, dude, left and right.
Wow, I haven't been there in so long.
Oh, you got to go. You got to go. It's waiting for you.
So let's get to the ultimate vegan sneaker that I love, that I just bought. I'm not going to say how much I bought them for.
Converse Chucks?
No.
I'm just kidding.
For myself for Christmas.
Vans Eras.
I had 2 pairs, and I skated in them. I fucking loved them. But just you design, like, my question about the 97 Air Max 1s, corduroy joints we're going to talk about. Had you designed any shoe before that or wanted to design a shoe and you just entered this thing to try it and say, fuck it?
I had never designed anything except the interior of a Round 2 store at that point. You know what I mean? Like, that was it for me. And I had just gotten actually to know a bunch of people that worked for Nike in the area because I'm a big vintage collector, you know? And so I had actually stockpiled a shit ton of Nike.
Yes.
Like an immense
You're
archive.
a Nike head.
Nike head.
Okay.
You know? And I just started to do favors. Like Nike, like someone from Nike would hit me up and be like, hey, do you have like an original like red and white Air Max 1 that we could borrow for this like gallery? And I'd be like, sure.
That is
take them. They'd be like, what do we owe you? And I'm like, nothing. It's on me, whatever, you know? And I would
That's crazy. Nike's reaching out to you about
They're
stuff
reaching
you
out
have.
to me constantly for vintage and stuff like that for events.
That's so cool.
Constantly. And I just always kept doing like a favor type thing. I heavily believed in karma. My friend Itai told me before we moved to California that you always had to give people things because you would then get gifted something. Like he always told us like no one sold things to each other for homies. You would do something for someone, and then someone would end up doing something for you, and that's how Hollywood worked. You know what I'm saying? And we were like, okay, cool. Because he was like, yo, when you guys come out here, he's like, you got to go hook up Undefeated. He's like, you got to hook up the guys from Supreme. Like, you got to show love to everyone out here so then they give you love back.
You guys, the new guys on the block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I thought about it. I was like, all right, cool. I'm out here in Hollywood. I'm meeting people from Nike. I owe them this. You know what I mean? And it's going to come back around somehow, some way. That's how it works. So I've been told. And then just randomly out of nowhere, Kristen, who worked for Nike LA, who's I'm sure she's deep in Nike, killing it right now. But she just hit me up and she was like, hey, we have an opportunity for you. She's like, I had just wrote them an email one day telling her and just anyone who I could tag from Nike in the email about how much I loved Air Maxes.
Okay.
And I was like, if there's ever an opportunity, just know like I love Air Max. Maybe you see his email, maybe not.
That's it.
And she called me and she's like, hey, we have an opportunity for you. Like, we know you love Air Maxes. Nike's doing like a design competition.
Vote Forward, it's called?
Vote Forward. She's like, they're going to pick, 12 designers from around the world. And like, you're going to be one of the people who represent LA and America. And I was like, dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you weren't even a designer. You just had
just a curator, a thinker, a collector, a decisive human. You know what I mean? Just like,
It's crazy. So like, how long did it take you to even come up with that design or think about having corduroy, think about having a vegan option? It was
the first things that I had come up with were really just the fact that I wanted to do a hybrid shoe of my two favorite Air Maxes, which was the 97 and the Air Max 1.
Yes.
And I wanted to take that opportunity because my favorite thing that Nike had done was the one time only pack, which was where they put a 360 sole on like 90 uppers, on Air Max 1 uppers, 97 uppers, etc., so on and so forth. They did a lot of hybrid shit. And I was like, here's my opportunity to do that, with a 97 and a 1. And so that's what I knew going into it that I wanted to do. Then part of the thing was Nike said that you had to, involve your community. So I was like, cool, let me hit up these people I've met through round 2, like friends of mine at the time, like ASAP Nast, Ben Baller, my homie Julian, Alex, like my friend Rich, who had worked for us in Virginia, just like my homie Skate, a group of people who I thought represented different walks of sneaker life.
cool.
Because I felt like that if I put together this group that I could share my ideas with them and they would help me figure out if this was going to appeal to a wider market.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what we did. We sat and we met, and that shoe, that 97, represents every single person in that meeting that day. The infrared bubble is because of Ben Baller. That was his idea, 100%.
Wow.
The purple and the brown is because of ASAP Nast. He was wearing a purple hoodie with a brown North Face, or vice versa. A brown hoodie with a purple North Face, but we looked at Nast and we're like, yo, purple and brown is fire together. And then so we had to do mocking up the shoe, and we're like, throw purple and brown on that shit. And Ben's like, do the infrared air bubble. And I was like, nah, clear air bubble. And Ben's like, nah, infrared. And so that shoe is like that because like everyone put their 2 cents into it. That's why it appealed to so many people, because it wasn't just me. Mm-hmm. What you see, beyond that with my projects, Asics, with Adidas, it's me, and I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? Like, those shoes are me, but it's very specific. It's very niche. You know what I'm saying? That Air Max just appealed to every type of person, because really that's what went into it, was every type of person. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I think I saw Fat Joe posted or something.
Oh yeah, Fat Joe.
Yo, it was crazy, man.
I gotta say, I've been waiting to share this moment, actually.
Let's go.
I have an inspiring line from Fat Joe.
Please.
Yo, so just like maybe a year ago, I was somewhere and I see Fat Joe get in the elevator, and I'm like, Joe, like, what's good? It's me, Sean. People just know my sneaker, not really my face. You feel me?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, whatever. Like, security's like, bro, you gotta go. And I was like, all right, it's all good. And then I DM him and I was like, yo, like that was me that like just hollered at you in the elevator. Like we're staying in the same hotel. Like what's good, you know? And he was like, bro, my bad. Like, fuck. He's like, come up to my room. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, dope. Yeah. So I went up to Fat Joe's room and we were just like chilling in there, talking sneakers. I was with Adidas, you know, at this time. And we're talking Adidas and he was like gassing the Air Max and things like that. And I was like, man, you fuck with like these Adidas I did? And he's like, I didn't even know you did any Adidas. And I was like, fuck. I was like, that kind of sucks to hear. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, bro, no, it's all good. He's like, these shits are fire. Like I showed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know, waiting for my next one to pop off, kind of like the Air Max. And he was like, hey man, he was like, you put your head down and work. He was like, do your thing. You want to know why? He's like, after I put out Lean Back, he's like, you know what every motherfucker said to me after that? Joe, when's the next Lean Back? When's your next Lean Back? This ain't Lean. Every time he would drop an album, he'd be like, motherfuckers would tell him like, this ain't no Lean Back though, Joe.
Good point.
You know what I mean? And he kept saying like, there's not going to be another Lean Back, you know? And he like, I'll just wait until people decide that for me. And so he was like, just wait. He's like, keep doing your thing. He's like, do what makes you happy. He's like, you're going to have your next Lean Back.
Wow, man.
And I was like, dope. And
that's
like,
incredible,
that meant
man.
a lot to me to hear from him. And it really motivated me to just keep going and just designing what I liked. Cause he was like, eventually people are going to call it your next Lean Back, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really not to skip too far forward.
No,
but
that's cool though.
I'm coming off the heels of a pretty successful sneaker drop yesterday.
Yeah.
With like my new Orchetro. And to be honest with you,
Orchetro, what's that name mean? What's that come from?
To be honest, I don't really know.
Okay.
But it was a shoe from the deep, deep depths of the Adidas archive that we pulled out. I believe it hasn't been touched in about 20 years. Yeah. But
I'm wearing them right now. They're super comfy.
Thank you.
Man.
That's been like one of the number one reviews is the comfort, which feels really good. But
and the colorway, the whole thing is just looks nice.
No, people received them well, which feels good, man. It's nice when people like shit with you.
Were you so the pressure? Obviously, you did shoes before this. Had the Adventures you gave me too as well. You said Asics. Is there like do you feel pressure like that when you drop these new shoes?
Yeah, I always feel pressure. The Air Max blew up so much that like I did feel like I had to live up to that with like everything I did, you know, post. And like it's just a lot of pressure going into it. So it's always made me like, I mean, I hope people know that every time before I post on Instagram, I am like anxiety ridden. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like I am going through it being like, I hope you love this because like I do, and it'll feel so much better if you do too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I do feel that every time, but then also being a designer and an artist, you do it for you too.
Of course,
you know what I mean? It's what makes you happy. It's
shit that you would want to wear.
That's
too,
why that's why you start, you know, expressing yourself through art and design is because that's what it is. It's a true expression of yourself. And it's my vehicle, dude. It's how I show people that I skate. It's how I show people that I'm into art, how I show people that I'm into music.
Everything.
It's like, it's my vehicle for showing you like who Sean is, you know?
Yeah. And so back to the Air Max 7, I love like you had the Volkswagen van going around. Dope. Like giving out shoes. You go up to vegan spots. You had the More Air shirts.
We partnered with Senna Vegan.
Senna Vegan, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Just the whole like, just bringing those out, like it was just so cool how all that went down.
Even with Adidas, we did Burger Lords.
Yeah, Burger Lords, yeah.
Yep.
But you had that, what was that? You did like, I wrote down the name of the vehicle. You did have the van, but you also had some other car, the same colorway too. Was it Fiat? No, it wasn't a Fiat.
Wait, what? My Volkswagen?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So,
was that a collab with Volkswagen around the shoe?
No, so check it out, dude. That's a OG car from 1996.
But that's the original colorway too?
That's the OG colorway.
I did not know that.
Bro, so growing up, like not only were we skateboarders, but like my friends were car heads.
Okay.
Like, dude, like rebuilding engines and shit, dude.
Okay.
Like building their own
turbo. Were you doing that too?
Hell no. I don't know shit about that stuff.
Same.
These dudes were building turbos for their pocket bikes. Damn. My homie David literally nosed his pocket bike and turboed that bitch.
Wow. Okay.
Made it all his own hands.
Damn.
Like he's crazy. These dudes knew what they were doing. But
those cars,
they were European car heads, really.
Okay.
My homie Travis was like Volkswagen guy.
Okay.
Therefore, I turned into like a Volkswagen guy.
Yeah.
We're just going through, you know, threads one day on VW Vortex, if anyone remembers that.
Okay.
And like we saw a Harlequin. That's what my Volkswagen.
It's a
Harlequin Golf.
Okay.
And I saw it and we're like, what the fuck is that? We're like young trippy kids. You know what I mean? We like
Harlequin Golf. That's
we love color. You know what I'm saying? And so we saw that and we're like, this is sick. They're only only a couple $1,000s, way more than we could ever afford. You know what I mean? But it became that car that, like, for me, like, wacky dream car. You know,
someday.
But it definitely inspired my life of color, though, because I would always kind of go back to that and try to recreate that car through another vehicle of expression.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. I have one now.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Did you get to keep that Volkswagen?
The bus? Nah, it's Nikes.
That was such a cool rollout though.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool.
That was cool.
So the 97, well, your shoe, Sean Wotherspoon, blows up. It's like everywhere.
Can I say something about that bus?
Yeah, dude.
I've been dying to tell people this.
Let's go, man.
Dude, it's been years. No one knows. So you know how everyone expects I have like maybe a storage unit full of my Air Maxes?
I heard about, somebody told me that about you recently.
Just listen. So check it. Okay. First off, not only did I barely make any money from that Air Max dropping because it was a contest, so it was just prize money. It wasn't like a profit split. I didn't get paid as a designer. It was prize money. It was like little prize money. You know what I mean?
That's reality. Okay.
And Nike, though, offered me 500 pairs of the Air Maxes.
Okay.
For myself, for free, to keep. They were like, put them in a storage unit. It's going to pay for your kids' college one day.
Wow.
And I was like, dope. I was like, that's nice. I was like, but I want to give these to everyone for free. I was like, the one thing that I like promised people I would do is if I won that competition, I would like show love to everyone who voted. And Nike's like, well, we can't give shoes to everyone who voted because it was like millions of people. and I was like, well, well, then whatever we have to do. I was like, take my prize money and give me the equivalent in shoes to give away. I was like, take my 500 pairs and let's give those away. And so Nike's like, we can't take your prize money. They're like, but we can use your 500 pairs as a giveaway. And so together with an agency, Nike and myself came up with the idea to wrap that Volkswagen bus, use my personal 500 pairs to travel around California and give out to everyone for free.
Wow.
So that's why I never had any pairs. I've
Were
never
you hiding
had
them too in certain places?
Yeah, we were doing all kinds of stuff. I've never had a stockpile of pairs though.
Wow.
Like I was buying my own size. To this day, if I need a pair of those, like for an event or something, I have to buy them resale. Like I don't have any.
Way.
I have none left.
You didn't save a pair for yourself?
No, I saved one pair for every size for Nash for his life. So I saved one full size run for Nash.
That's incredible, man.
That's all I have.
That's
actually I sold off like or gave away like probably anything above an 11 because I was like, well, I'm a 10 and a half. His foot's not going to be bigger than mine, you know?
Wow. I remember seeing Nash rocking little ones too.
I gave all those away and like it was, I never really like talked about it, but
beautiful,
I always wanted people to actually know because it's like, man, like hopefully y'all know, like I've always championed the people, you know what I mean? Like it's always been my thing on like, I would always take pride of being like in these Nike meetings, like screaming at them, trying to get them to show love to the community. Wow. It was like always my thing where I'm like, everyone's always like, my friends who were in the meetings are like, I can't believe you like are, you know, like that. And I'm like, well, if no one's going to come in here and tell them what the people want, like, how are we ever going to get what we want? Yeah. I was like, I'm speaking for the whole community of sneakerheads here. Of course I'm going to be loud.
Yeah.
You know, but
wow.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool. I was really grateful for Nike to come up with a dope plan on how to give them away too. It meant a lot. You know what I mean?
Maybe you driving all around. That was so cool.
Because it's like I did have to give up my 500 pairs, but they invested in that bus. You know, they did so much, and so it made it worth it for me. And then, dude, do you know how good it felt going to the bus stops and just pulling numbers out and watching that excited person run up, and I was handing them a pair of friends and family. By the way, those were all friends and family pairs.
Okay.
Handing people friends and family pairs before the shoe even came out, like fuck, dude, it felt good.
No, that's amazing, man. Wow.
Yeah.
You hear it first on this podcast. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
So that was a moment, but that moment lasted, and that put you in a different stratosphere, I guess, right? People saw you in a different light. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I started working with Guess Jeans.
Yeah.
Started applying what I learned with like sneaker design to clothing.
Did people start hitting you up?
Yeah, people were kind of hitting me up, you know what I mean? And I was trying to be very careful about like not like selling out because I didn't even feel like I was still learning my skill set. You know, still learning about myself and trying to figure out like what even is me selling out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was working with Nike. I was working with Guess Jeans.
Were you shocked at the reaction of the shoe?
I was. Yeah, it was incredible. I've never seen something like that in my life. Like I never thought I would live through something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look back, there's like a video of when they announced me as a winner. Nike never told me that I had won before they told me in person.
Okay.
And so Nike had just, like, the last I saw, actually, I was behind in votes. And then Nike was having a party in LA, whether I won or not, where Travis Scott performed on La Brea.
Okay.
They closed down the street. And there's a video of, like, when they told me, and, like, dude, it gets me almost really emotional sometimes, because it was, I was really depressed that day because, like, I just thought I lost. Like, it was a fact in my head that I lost.
Really?
You know, and I just, in my head, I, like, fumbled the biggest opportunity I would have ever had in my life to become someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then, like, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to go to this event and try to be, like, happy. You know what I mean? And I was, like, at the event, you'll see it. Like, if you go back in this video, I'm, like, greasy and gross, and my hair's fucking nasty. My beard's all fucked up. I'm, like, gross, dude. I look like a wreck.
Wow.
And I just remember, like, the DJ, like, cuts the music, and the DJ is like, all right, everyone, like, you know, we have a special announcement tonight. You know, Nike Vote Forward just ended. And they were like, actually, the winner is here with us tonight.
Oh, yo.
Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow.
And, like, I don't know, that feeling was, like, unlike anything else. But if you watch back at that video, like, it was the craziest moment, like, of my life that I've lived through. I never thought I would experience something like that.
That's a crazy life-changing moment.
Yeah, but constantly been chasing that sense, you know what I mean? Of just, like, how happy it made people, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And
I'm like,
you put pressure on yourself after that to, like, I gotta outdo that one.
yeah.
It just changes your mindset.
Yeah, no,
probably,
it
and
does.
everything, because now you are a designer.
You want to keep one-upping yourself. You want to grow in the industry. I'm starting to, like, go from being a fan to a peer of like people who I looked up to my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me impress them. You know, like the Jerry Lorenzos, and I mean, like, even like Paul Middleman, anyone, dude. I just started meeting people who I was looking up to, and I'm like, wow, I have to really, like, I got to work hard and impress these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this means a lot to me.
You feel like you had a lot to prove.
Yeah. And plus, I want to show people me. I have not a lot to prove. I have a lot to
back then.
I have a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
No, even back then, it wasn't like trying to prove. It was like, I want to tell you stories now. It's like, man, you guys like that shoe? Let me tell you about what I know about art, and let me represent that through a project. Let me tell you what I know about music, and let me represent that through a project. You know, like, and that just became my obsession, is like telling the story of me, which still I just am having so much trouble getting it all out, you know?
Yeah. So, that shoe pretty much sells out pretty fast too, right?
Seconds, yeah.
Seconds,
milliseconds.
Only online or was it in stores?
It was like everywhere, I think. It was like in stores, online. I don't quite remember, but yeah.
And you're still at the store. You still going to go flea markets in the morning.
Yeah, working at Round 2 every day.
Same thing.
Dawn till dusk type thing. Yeah, I mean, it was the hustle, dude. I lived for it, you know?
Yeah. And so when that happens and you win, do they hire you as an employee at Nike, or that doesn't happen like that?
No, actually, it didn't happen like that. I actually didn't really have much communication with Nike for like the next year.
Okay.
It almost felt like they had kind of moved on.
Yeah, because you won the contest.
Yeah,
for your shoe out.
It was a contest. I was never hired.
Yeah,
and so it was like,
it.
although I felt like almost offended that I wasn't called the next week, like, what are we doing next?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you won a contest. You know what I mean? It's on to the next thing now.
Yeah.
Which, in perspective, I wish I understood that more. You know, but I did then talk to Nike again, and that's when we did samples. And
oh, I seen those samples, all blue ones. Yeah.
Which I honestly never designed. I never wanted it to be that color.
Okay.
That was just a sample that Nike kind of like fed through. My design was more of like a gradient of the blues.
Okay.
Yeah. But we just couldn't agree on a final product.
Yeah.
So that's when the split happened, and
life goes on.
Yeah, moved on to ASICS, which was dope. Shout out to my homie Koji from Japan at Atmos.
Okay.
They're the ones who made that possible for me, and really, opened me up to the Japanese market as well. Like, they were huge for me, like Homyo and Koji from Atmos. They've hooked me up with like a lot of cool deals with Medicom. Again, they were the vehicle through ASICS. We've done work together with Adidas, and it's kind of cool. Like, whenever Koji has an opportunity, he'll hit me up. Whenever I have one, I'll hit him up,
Yeah.
Kind of cool, like little mutual thing.
That's awesome. And also, before we get more moving forward, but I know you do collect antiques. We were talking about the other day.
Oh, sick.
And did that start as back home, or just more out here?
Started in Richmond. Yeah,
And
because
what kind of antiques?
again, like I started going to thrift stores, like I told you, but then also at thrift stores in Richmond. I mean, immense history there that goes back far, and so there's old stuff. But I started going to estate sales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
okay.
again, I'm an eBayer, so like just by nature, you find some shit, you look it up, and you're like, "What's this worth? Oh, cool! I can get that for this silver spoon." I'm going to estate sales now and raiding all the drawers.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so also, I don't think anyone knows about this shit. I don't even know if they do them. Salvation Army did auctions in a barn behind their location in Midlothian in Richmond, and I would go at 6 a.m. and it was me and a bunch of old like farmer dudes, really.
Wow.
And they would auction bins of toys. They would auction trunks, signs. I would go there and win a vintage trunk for $20. They would do these big bins of toys. I'd win a whole toy bin with hundreds of toys in it for $30.
Wow.
They had bric-a-brac tables where I'd find little like Louis Vuitton wallets, coin pouches, and like got my first like porcelain sign there. You know,
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Just
no.
crazy estates.
yeah, it just got me into vintage or antiques, and I started looking into that stuff. And actually, my true obsession, like I'm not a sneakerhead anymore. You know, like I gave up collecting sneakers like
retired.
years ago. Not a sneakerhead anymore.
Okay.
I'm a collector for sure. I'm a hoarder collector. I'm completely obsessed and neck deep in shit.
You don't have a big collection of
Not
sneakers anymore,
sneakers.
really?
Got rid of it all.
Wow.
But dude, signs is like my addiction. I am
Okay.
like an advertising absolute addict. Everything from turn of the century to mid-century. Even nowadays, up until like 70s and 80s, I'm really interested. But I love advertising, dude.
Okay.
I have so many signs.
So-
many signs and just different advertising things. I love it.
So
Love
there
it.
could be a warehouse that Sean has all signs and not sneakers now.
There is one. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, like I have a lot of antiques.
And so you have some in your house too? Like, what do you put
We
in?
got antiques at the house, in the
Okay.
garage, in the storage unit, at my office, in the studio, in the archive.
Wow.
Yeah, between like cars and antiques, if you give me space, I'm stuffing some in there. You know,
Cars too.
dude, love cars, man. Love cars.
How many cars you have?
It's definitely not the most sustainable thing I'm into.
Yeah.
You know, I like to think I break even through my clothing and sneaker design and my vegan lifestyle outside of that.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
no, dude, I have a thing for cars, like we were saying with the Harlequin. So old
Yeah.
BMWs, old G wagons, things
So you have
like
storage
that.
with that stuff too somewhere?
I mean, not as storage, but they're scattered. Like I said,
Cars and signs.
give me a 9x5 space. I'll put a car in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what about like furniture too? You have all kinds
I'm
of
into
antique
it, dude.
furniture,
I
everything?
love it all, dude. I'm just
So nothing really modern.
I mean,
you buy.
I'm into modern stuff too, but I'm not as much really. If I'm into something modern, it's most likely retro. Do you know
Okay.
what I mean? And so like, or inspired by something like from the past. But yeah, dude, I'm so into it all. I just love it, you know? Because I'm a senses guy. It's not even that I'm a furniture guy. It's not that I'm like a display guy. I'm just a dude who's like, oh, I can use this to express my senses of touch and feel and taste or whatever. Like I just love that. I love the opportunity,
Yeah.
you know, to feel quality, to touch something of handmade that's been around for hundreds of years, that withstood the test of time, that was on the side of a horse and buggy ice cream carriage. Like, I don't know,
The history
dude.
of it and all that, where it came
Yeah.
from and stuff.
You can feel it, you know? You can live through that, through the garment.
So that became the newest obsession most of your life, but now you're really focusing on that.
Yeah. And it's cool because I'm able to use these pieces to inspire like my design now. I mean, I work with Porsche. I work with Adidas in like a large capacity. I work with Beyond Meat. I mean, like there's all these brands I work with now, but it's cool because I'm able to take these things I love and now apply it to like these super contrasting, you know, businesses or like interests and stuff. So
And then you said Beyond. That's cool. You do stuff with them?
yeah, I work with Beyond. I'm actually like really working hard to bring their ear to the street more. And so partner Beyond. So like I take a lot of inspiration from the sneaker market actually with how I truly believe that the Nikes and Adidas are around today because of the mom and pops who supported them in the 80s and 90s, even before that.
Yeah.
Because that was, look, when you walked into a Foot Locker, maybe Foot Locker is not the best example. When you walk into a mall sneaker store,
Yeah.
it's not much. It's shared brand space. When you walk into a mom and pop, that front window's got a Nike Shox display,
Yeah.
a cutout of Jordan, the Measure Up poster inside, this and that.
Yeah.
And it was so much more. And that's when we fell in love with brands, right?
Yeah,
Was when
for
you
sure.
you didn't fall in love with the brand at the mall. You
No.
fell in love with the brand at a mom and pop.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just speaking to people who grew up in cities.
Or a
I
small
don't know.
skate shop or something.
Yeah, or a small skate shop. Exactly. And so that's my goal with Beyond, is to say like, hey, you know, let's empower these locations that aren't franchises, that don't have 36,000 locations, that aren't placing the biggest orders. Let's empower them, you know, like, because by empowering them, it's also going to bring this really dope community value and sense of like just natural organic growth to the brand. So that's my goal with Beyond is.
Yeah. I really enjoy the Beyond stuff.
It's good. It's a good product.
Yeah. I went gluten-free like 8 months ago, and I think they are gluten-free, I think. Beyond.
Yeah. And I appreciate that they don't use GMO soy.
Yeah.
It makes it easy to support them like on a health level. And then like also when I travel, you can find Beyond in other countries because simply enough, other countries don't allow GMO soy and Beyond's not GMO soy. So it's nice to
Did not know that. That's cool.
That's why you might only find Impossible in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so let's get to the veganism. How long has that been part of your life, and how did that happen for you?
Dude, I've been vegan for almost like 10 years now. Shout out to my fiance, Ashley. Like, she got me 100% into it. Ashley went vegetarian, then quickly went vegan about 10 years ago. She was super go hard with it, constantly like in my ear, telling me benefits and how she was feeling and making me watch documentaries. We went to Washington, D.C. We saw Forks Over Knives.
Woo!
Cowspiracy.
Great, too.
We saw a premiere of Cowspiracy. Changed my fucking life. I was vegetarian going into Cowspiracy because I was doing it for Ashley. I was like, I can do this with you. Like, it felt really rude cooking a filet mignon in a house where she was like vegan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, fuck. And again, this was 10 years ago. So totally different landscape for veganism.
Totally.
And we went to Cowspiracy, and I literally am eating a pizza, a non-vegan like cheese pizza in the movie, watching this movie about how disgusting this fucking cheese is that's on the pizza. And
so true.
Dude, I get 15 minutes into it, and I'm just like, I remember looking at Ashley and I was like, I'm never going to eat cheese again.
Wow.
Yeah. And then just like,
it.
dude, because Cowspiracy was straight facts. I love that dude.
Yes.
I love how he, you know.
Is that Keegan?
He did it, maybe, I forget, but he did it himself. He was like a surfer, dude. And
I know,
just
that's
like
him. Yeah,
super cool broed out guy. And he just spitted facts and just, I was like, I can't argue with this. I was like, that's it. I was like, you mean like what I'm seeing is true? Yes. Okay, then. Done deal for me.
And that was it for you.
That was it for me. And also, it was easy for the relationship. You know what I mean? For Ashley, like, you know, like I remember her expressing it might be tough to be with someone who wasn't vegan. So also in the back of my mind, I'm like, this, you know, I should probably do this.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome, man.
Dude, it gave me a cool outlook though, because now it sets me apart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, everything I do is 100% vegan. All of my sneakers, all of my clothing. I strive to use organic materials. I strive to use recycled materials. I strive to reuse vintage. It's huge for me.
Yeah, and you know the connection between what we eat and all that, and how it affects the earth and the environment and everything.
Yeah, it's huge. And I mean, after you have kids, it changes a little too, because you feel like a sense of responsibility to like.
Yes.
It does feel like how much can I really keep the earth safe for my son? Like, how naive, but. It's really about using that platform to inspire other people.
100%.
So it's like, hey, like, yeah, I'm motivated to create a better world for my son as he grows up.
Yes.
And if other people can see that and feel like obligated to do the same thing, we're going to make a real difference.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. So your kids are vegan too?
Kids are vegan, born and raised vegan,
Same
dogs
with
vegan.
Max, yeah.
It's the way to do it, dude. I love it. Yeah, it's been great for them, dude. It's been great for them.
Shout out to your wife. That's amazing.
Yo, shout out
man.
to Ash. She's their teacher. She's their mom. She's their best friend. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's so cool.
Ash kills it. It's cool like with kids growing up vegan too, because they have this like personality of like checking if things are vegan. Did Max ever check? Like, It kind of like I'm always like, oh shit. Like I don't want him to come off like, dude, like someone will offer Nash something. He's like, is it vegan? And they're like, oh, no, it's not. Sorry. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal. But they like feel bad.
Yeah.
That they are. And I'm like, no, I don't feel bad. I'm like, he's vegan.
Yeah. Max just started messing with the fake meats because he's never had meat. And it always tripped him out.
Wow.
So he's just started to take bites of stuff at 19 years old.
Dude.
Because he's never had it before. And he just the smell, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's just feel like the world's changing. I feel like, especially coming out of the last couple of years, that people are more conscious about what they're eating, hopefully, and how it affects the environment. And like, it's not just about driving a Prius and taking a short shower. It's like, the stuff we're putting in our mouths affects everything, the animals, and just the pollution that's not from cows, and just...
When you started eating vegan, did you start caring about that more, like pollution and nature and just like the things outside of food?
Yeah, I mean, as I got older, because I stopped eating animals in 1988.
Fuck.
My wife was vegan in 85. I got into it
sick.
through like living in New York, Gorilla Biscuits, and being part of the straight edge movement in New York. And then I did it back then for the animals, and then also you realize, wow, I'm 52 and I feel like I'm 22. And then you realize throughout your life, like you have this energy and the way you look at life, and then you see how as you get older, how the earth is, what we've done to the earth and how it affects everything. Yeah, it was me was the PETA videos in the 80s and watching all of that. I've taken my son to like the pig vigils out to the slaughterhouse. Yep. Like I've done all of that with him, and just never preached it to him, just led by example, like whatever he wants to do when he goes out into the world.
Gave the option.
Yeah, he knows where like kids are always raised on like the farm in the dell, and the pig goes oink and the cow goes moo, but then we take him to McDonald's. Yep. So it's like that's how I was raised around, but now we're way more conscious about how we're raising our I mean, I don't know, it's beautiful.
No,
man.
it means a lot, dude. It does. And like even for Nash, it's cool. I can see like him starting to care about other things just because now he knows he has to care about what he's consuming, right? So there's a certain standard then that you hold. And you're like, okay, maybe I should worry about other things too, because if what I eat affects me, and I can see it starting to click with him just yesterday, 24 hours ago, I came home with a plastic water bottle and Essentia, right? I was thirsty as shit, dude. I stopped at the Canyon store.
He's like, yo.
What are you going to do? He straight attacked me. Dude, I get in there with the plastic bottle. He comes up to me, puts on like a stern face, and he says, we shouldn't be buying any more plastic. And I was like, you're exactly right. I was like, it's embarrassing that I even came home with this. And he's like, yeah, it makes me really sad.
Wow, man.
And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, oh my God. I'm like not even worthy. I'm such a terrible person. Holy shit, dude. Like, let me get this plastic bottle out of here. Like,
I love the honesty of kids.
Oh, dude, like super honest.
Straight from the heart.
It was amazing though. I was like, wow, cool. Like, let's keep that energy.
Wow, man. He's only 6?
6, dude.
It's crazy. So just by you being a vegan and doing what you're doing in this industry, it's helped a lot and changed a lot. I really feel like, and I see that there is more options in the sneaker world too as well.
I don't want to say I'm like responsible for anything, but I'll tell you right now, when I did that Air Max, there was not any other brand besides Moo Shoes advertising vegan sneakers. Nobody was doing it. Not one brand was putting the word vegan in an advertising campaign talking about a sneaker. It did not exist. Maybe like in some kind of sub, Reddit or some third, maybe, but a brand never spoke about it. If you look back, Nike never referred to my shoes vegan or plant-based. They told me not to. Nike told me originally not to refer to my shoes vegan because they were afraid PETA was going to attack them for not having a fully vegan company. And so that's how fresh it was actually in 2016, the whole vegan sneaker design thing. Like I was like, this has to be plant-based for me ethically. It has to align with what I believe in.
Totally.
And for Nike, and I understand the complications they had. I'm not hating on it at all. I get it. It's like without ever defining a shoe as vegan before, dude, you have no idea what that's going to do for you in the marketplace. But they were like, you can say it on your Instagram. They were like, you can say it's plant-based. They were like, we'd appreciate it if you didn't say vegan. They were like, we are just worried on how people might react. And so, dude, like, I really broke a huge barrier with showing Nike that was okay. If you look at the next year, they started calling products plant-based and vegan. I showed them that was all right, that the market would react in a positive way. And we also proved that there is... And not that this is even like a good thing, because I'm sure it did roll into a lot of different greenwashing and stuff from brands, but that there was profitability in the plant-based and vegan verbiage. And to me, that was important and also detrimental. It was important for me to show companies that you can make $20 million in 0.3 seconds off of a vegan sneaker.
Wow.
Yes, that was important. And brands saw that.
Wow.
And whether they use it for the good or the bad, now we're in a market where you can find a shit ton of vegan product.
The space hippies came out after that.
It has absolutely taken over, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Vegan product has absolutely taken over. And not just Nike. Every brand across the board is dying to define something as plant-based or sustainable or vegan. And again, whether they're using that terminology in the correct or the wrong way, dude, we broke a serious barrier because without if that shoe would have plummeted, brands going forward wouldn't have saw any reason. And again, I hate to always go back to money, but that's what it comes back to. If you want to get an idea and something to change, like there has to be some kind of margin involved for the person who's investing in your great idea to change humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for us to show that there was margin there, it changed the fucking game, dude.
Well, thank you, because I love the Space Hippies too. And they came out after that.
Phenomenal
all the
shoes.
recycled trash. And then also, I would have to call, like, making Nike Idea, a 1-800 number, and they couldn't give me a solid answer if it was synthetic suede or not, or real or not. But now I've noticed you can see on the Nike page like what the stuff's exactly made out of.
Because that transparency meant everything. Yeah. You know, because instead of it being something that you could hide, you could be proud of that. So you could be proud of the materials, and that's actually something that I love highlighting through my projects with Adidas, with Asics, Nike. I always use cork. It's a huge one for me, you know, and that's something where it's like, why not talk about it? Mm-hmm. Why not talk about where we're sourcing the cork from?
Yeah.
Let's be proud of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The rubber that our midsoles are made out of and our outsoles, why not be proud of where we're sourcing that from? It's 70% recycled.
Yeah.
Of course I'm proud of that. You know what I mean? And so we started to see that we're like, hey, if we're making these shoes ethically and we're doing everything right, of course we want to have that transparency. Of course, and so that's the theme of all my projects is transparency. Like we want you to see it all because we're truly proud of what we're putting out.
That's amazing,
I'm doing shoes with Adidas right now that are fully mushroom leather. I'm doing shoes that are fully hemp with recycled rubber soles.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like we're proud of that. And
that is so cool.
Yeah, dude, it's sick.
I bought my first pair of New Balances. I look like Larry David wearing them because they're all gray, but
love that.
I bought them because they were the only vegan ones. They have a V on the back.
You see that? How dope is that, dude?
And I've only worn them once, but I'm like, I had to support it because it was
so sick. You got to support it.
But all the recycled stuff, and then like maybe because this back in the day they always say that Nike or all the brands, maybe they use like horse glue or something. That's why
the adhesives were a big thing that I touched on with Nike because that's what I had always heard.
Okay.
Is that's what made a lot of shoes not vegan, unfortunately, was the animal adhesives that they were using to put them together. And so that was something that I stuck on with Nikes, that I did not want to use animal adhesives. I can't say that they weren't using them before me, but I can say that I showed them a use case for that proved scalability.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
So that was not like a myth. Supposedly that happened like in the 80s.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, horses are what glue is made out of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you have to be really careful about adhesives and stuff like that.
And the fact that there's so many options to eat vegan.
Yeah.
Why can't there be options to make products that are vegan? That's so cool that's happening now with every kind of company. Even I heard Gucci had like a vegan line or like a bunch of canvas stuff. Like it's so many things.
No, it's great. I love it. Actually, I find it easy to support a lot of brands now because they do offer like vegan options. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I took a break from designer brands for a while and I still I don't really shop. I'm not like balling out like shopping by any means. I'm wearing like a Columbia fleece, you know?
No, I love it.
But you know, sometimes I buy something nice.
Treat yourself, yeah.
Sometimes I treat myself. So it's kind of cool to be able to go to like Prada and find like a nylon product where they're using reused nylon.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you know probably about all kinds of things that you can use vegan options for with sneakers and making stuff now.
It's insane how
many options we have. You probably learned so much too, just becoming vegan and trying to make, I
mean, you know.
Is it hard to make something all vegan sneaker, or do you think it's just easy and nobody really tried?
I might be jaded because like I'm just saying like what I want and they're doing it, so it seems easy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Adidas is going through hell, you know, making my ideas come to life, which shout out to them for doing the R&D that's necessary to, you know, keep this game changing. Yeah. But Adidas has never flinched at any of my ideas on recycled product, vegan, sustainability. They're always gung-ho, so I'm like so grateful for that.
And as like a massive corporate company, regardless if it's about money or not, they also want the earth to be here so they can live longer here as well. And so like just being a little bit conscious
means everything.
Helps. Even it's a corporation, they're still helping, you know, the carbon footprint, whatever you want to say, and moving forward as a planet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all of it helps.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The vegan sneaker, or I don't know, meatless Mondays. You know what I mean? Like the big picture.
It's everything. Yeah.
I really appreciate that you doing your part with that. And I'm wearing the new Adidas right now. This is my first pair of Adidas. I might have had shell toe Adidas in the early 90s.
Love it.
But like, I see the corduroy on
Yep.
here. I see the different colorways. I see there's so many vibes
Some
to this
canvas
shoe.
in there.
Yeah, and we were talking the other day at your store about your logo and how it's a peace symbol and how that
Yeah.
peace symbol in other places doesn't represent peace.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was so interesting. Man, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool logo too.
Yeah, nah, thanks. For me, the peace logo was like easy, and actually we developed that when I was working with Guess. Because we
Okay.
were like, what's it going to be? It can't just be SW. We're like, let's do a peace sign. Like, that's so my vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we developed that at Guess. It kind of stuck, and I'm probably dropping the peace sign. You know, I think like the Orchestra was a big one for me where you don't see the peace sign. Wait, did I do it on the tongue? Yeah,
That's
we
on
do.
the tongue.
We
Yeah.
do it on the tongue.
Yeah.
But you'll start seeing.
I
Just,
love it, though.
You know, for me, it's just like, hey, it's a SW project. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to push anything else. It's like, you know what I'm putting out.
It is a cool logo though.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
But I didn't realize either that the back of the 97 said VA to LA till today.
VA to LA.
I didn't even know that.
There's all kinds of hidden shit. On the back of my Asics, you can actually peel the canvas up where it says Asics, and it has my logo and then Atmos's logo under that.
Oh, wow.
On my first Superstar with Adidas, you can peel up the back tab, and it has my logos below that as well, which I've never seen anyone take a picture of.
Yeah, was the peeling, this seems like something new. I see people getting these dunks that they're peeling off the swoosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Did this is all a recent thing, the peel offs?
I did like a tearaway Air Max 1 when I was with Nike that I think like really re-energized the idea of doing like tearaway like interactive sneakers.
Okay.
My inspiration came from Jeff McFetridge.
Did those Air Max ones come out?
No.
Dude, these are the ones I kept seeing you wear. You kept the all different colorway. Oh my God, I just realized that because I'd have that in my notes.
It was like my most viral sneaker in the world.
Bro, those were so sick. I just realized that.
Yeah. We used Liberty fabric, floral. The corduroy would tear away. It was sick.
So you have there's only a couple made probably in the whole world.
I have one pair. Yachty has the other pair. That's it. 2 pairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he has the other pair.
Yachty's my guy. He's supported me more than like anyone else in the world.
Big sneakerhead.
Yeah, and so like it felt right to give him those and know that he has them, you know.
That is cool, man.
Yeah.
Are there anybody that became a fan of your shoes from the hip hop? I'm sure that you grew up listening to or loving. I know the De La Soul guys are repping it, and like
shout out Plug One.
yeah,
for
man,
sure.
shout out
Like,
Plug One. It must be surreal though too,
bro. Like I get a DM one day from fucking Jadakiss, you know, and he was like, "Yo," he was like, "I'm about to land with Styles P." And we want your Cortez. I was like dipping these Cortez in red paint for Nike, and they were like, "Can we stop by and get pairs?" And Jada and Styles P came to the pop up that I was doing before we even opened. I was just chilling with them. Styles P's vegan as shit, you know.
Yeah, they got the juice spots.
He has the juice spot, and so it was cool getting down with him and like just talking to Jada, and like I got these dope pictures with them. But I mean, like. Huge fan. I mean, I was listening to Jadakiss and Styles P on my way here. Like, I mean, it was crazy.
That's fucking surreal.
Like
man.
Raekwon, like having dialogue with him has been crazy.
Do you text Raekwon? You did before?
Yo, yeah, like we DM all the time. You know, it's kind of crazy. Like, shout out to his boy Polo Bear who connected us. And then
That's cool, man.
I mean, dude, Fab is like a good homie, and like, I mean, I grew up watching his music
Underrated
videos
Fabulous,
on the MTV music video blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wow, man.
you know the song "Breathe" by Fab? I mean, dude, this was some of the hottest shit in the game.
Great.
And so, yeah, I mean, even Fab, like we had, like I'm about to hire a new lawyer, and it's the same lawyer Fab's using. So I was like, he dropped Fab's name, and I was like, maybe thinking I don't know him, and I'm like, I'm gonna call him, and I'm gonna see like. You know, if he can give me the good recommendation for this lawyer, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm like, yo, Fab, like, how is it working with so-and-so, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool. And like I said, meeting Fat Joe and shit like that. And just like, I feel like I'm living in a dream world, dude. It's really
gotta be,
it's
dude.
really weird, dude.
It's cool. And like these dudes, you form relationships with these guys.
I'm a big music fan too.
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna ask you that.
Big music fan.
Hip hop fan, all kinds of music.
Everything, dude. Everything from Quasimodo.
Quasimodo.
Bro,
Quasimodo,
Quasimodo, MF Doom, Nas, Diggable Planets, Dilated, the obvious ones, the De La's, the Tribes, you get it. Jim Jones I fuck with. I mean, like, dude, Malcolm McLaren. You know what I mean? I'll do the Weezer thing, Marcy Playground. I mean, Beck, whatever, dude. Like, I fuck with it. My dad's an OG alt rock head.
Okay.
So like tons of alternative rock has just burned into my brain from my dad listening to it nonstop. So I automatically love it. But like, I'm a true hip hop head.
Yeah.
My life, it revolves around hip hop and just listening to what artists are saying, like in songs and trying to vibe with that. And
Jay Dilla.
I mean, come on.
I can tell you're into like a lot
DJ
of
Premier. I mean,
Gangstar,
fucking
man.
Alchemist, the absolute best to ever do it. I mean, good God. Outkast, Andre 3 Stacks. I mean, Talib, Most Def.
Dead Prez.
Dude, Dead Prez is good. Goddamn. Dude, wow, I love going into
a lot of East Coast shit too.
I love going into the music. AZ,
bro, underrated.
The Format, the Come Up. I mean, like so many great songs.
Would it hard for you to have a top 5?
It would be impossible for me to have a top 5. I mean, I like Shine. You know, Shine. You know, he's like
Shine.
You know, Shine's like the president of some island.
I heard
like a country.
I'm gonna heard
he's
that.
Like
since he got out.
Yeah, dude, Shine's like fucking killing it. I hit him up and I was like, I hit him in DM. Just seeing if I could help bring veganism to his country.
No way, dude.
I was like, bro, Shine, like I'm super inspired, been a fan of you growing up. Like I designed vegan sneakers. I always slide people's DMs just on a random, who knows?
I love that, man.
And I hit Shine and I was like, yo, I'd love to come out there and like do something with your community and help bring veganism out to I can't I feel like an absolute dumbass not knowing what he's, you know, out representing, but like, nah, he didn't hit me back. But whatever, it's out there, you know?
I love that you do that, dude.
Yeah, I just do it because who knows, you know?
Yeah, but sometimes people hit you back.
Yeah, I even slid in McDonald's DM. When Travis Scott did their thing, I hit them and I was like, let me be your next Travis Scott. We'll do an entire vegan meal.
Wow.
McDonald's DM'd me back. And was like, interesting. Send an email to whatever. And I sent the email. Okay. Dude emailed me back and was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, we'll keep this in mind. But I thought it was cool that McDonald's even hit me back. Like,
wow.
You know?
A whole fucking vegan line. That's crazy.
Sick, right?
Yeah, but why not?
Why not?
It doesn't hurt to ask.
I was like, why not just ask? You know, I got the blue check, you know?
Is there any MC that you met that like kind of tripped you out?
Oh, man.
Was Nas rocking the shoes?
I
don't know if I saw Nas. I saw a lot of people.
I would have hoped
Buster?
Nas was
Buster
Rhymes. I don't know. He may have rocked him. I don't think so.
Really,
who went crazy? I gotta say, I think DJ Khaled and Fab went.
DJ Khaled, wow.
DJ Khaled and Fab went crazier than anyone.
Okay.
If you look back in some photos, Khaled's got his whole family in them, toe to head, matching those sneakers.
Damn.
Yeah. Fab, there's a photo of him and his whole family in the airport, head to toe. SW.
Crazy,
it was tight, dude. It was so sick.
So here's a question. Are your friends from back there, were they tripping on everything?
Yeah, my friends from back home are constantly tripping on shit because I would always hit them and I'd be like, yo, you never guess who I'm chilling with right now. Like, this is crazy. Yeah, or like when I'd be back home, like it would just be crazy. Like I was even back
when you go back home after the success of the shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, and even not with friends, even like just with family. Like I was with Ashley's family and Ariana Grande called me. Because she wanted to go to the store and she's like calling me and I'm like on FaceTime with Ariana Grande about like setting up her going to the store. And you know, our cousin or Ashley's cousins and family's like tripping like, you know her? And I'm like, I kind of do know her. Yeah. Through clothes and shoes. Yeah. Like it's kind of crazy.
That's so crazy.
It was always a cool kind of like little like back home flex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, look who I'm talking to out here. Like, we grew up listening to this guy.
Yeah, was there anybody ever tripped like got starstruck about?
Okay, that's what I was just going to say next. All right, that's the one thing I can say is I've never been starstruck.
Yeah, I can see that vibe from you.
From like musicians, anything like that. Skaters.
Okay.
I come up with like a loss of words with pro skaters. Costin, I would say me and Costin have a good friendship.
Okay.
You know, but when
He's a good dude.
Good dude. When I met him, didn't know what to say. Never been at a loss of words.
And he's pretty quiet too. He's pretty chill.
Yeah, such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He is dope as fuck, man. But I gotta say, Costin, like meeting him, I was like freaking out. Steve Barra, you know, like meeting him, meeting those guys.
My wife
like,
works at the barracks.
Yeah, dude. Like barracks is dude. I mean, like that was watching the barracks and going there and skating, but that's who really trips me out. It's the skaters. Okay. Sal Barbier, dude. Me and
Legend.
Sal. God, dude, he started coming through round 2. We built a beautiful friendship. He's one of my favorite fucking people.
Nice,
and again,
man.
like, those are the dudes who, like, whenever like I know I'm gonna meet up with them, I'm always like pre-planning what I'm gonna say because I'm so worried. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, let me be as cool as I can.
Yeah,
it's Sal.
He's pretty chill though too.
So chill. What the fuck?
Is he from back east too?
I think so. You know what's crazy? I just ran into Sal recently, and he was like, "Hey, man," he was like, "Why are you ever gonna wave back to me coming down the hill?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You drive by me every morning when I'm on my jog." He's like, "I look a little different because I think he wears different jogging gear."
Wow.
And I'm like, "What the fuck, Sal?" I'm like, "I didn't even know that was you." He's like, "Bro, I live in your neighborhood."
Oh shit.
Yeah, and I was like, "Damn, that's crazy, dude." Like,
so
just a cool dude,
man.
low key, you know, just.
It's cool when you meet people that like you looked up to and they're awesome and they're everything you want them to be.
Yeah.
Meeting people that you were stoked about, then you meet them like, oh, shit. I met a couple in my life, but most of the people I met, especially in the Cali, like meeting Hassoy and Cab and Chris Cole and these dudes.
God.
They're my boys in there, but growing up loving them and then meeting them, like they're awesome, just humble, awesome guys.
I have to say, across the board, skaters are pretty great, man. I've never really met a skater that I was like super turned off from, because usually you already know going into it. You're like, oh, this dude's Corey Duffel. He's pissed drunk. You know, you're like, I know what I'm getting into. He might throw a glass bottle at the what's it called? Demo.
At the demo.
You know, so it's like you weren't really offended. You're like, I know what I'm getting to with him. Like, there's nice guys, there's crazy guys. It's cool, you know?
Yeah.
Ali Buyala, you know what I mean? Like, for sure you're going to see his ass and his balls, you know? I mean, it's like a guaranteed. You know, you can't be offended by it.
Do you spend a lot of time on social media?
Probably, unfortunately, yeah.
Do you answer DMs and shit?
Yeah, I go through DMs as much as I can.
You probably get a lot, and you try to respond to everybody.
I find some of the most talented people in the world through my DM. A dude, Rakeem.
People pitching themselves.
Bro, I'm working with a dude, Rakeem, right now, who has got to be, to this day, one of the most talented people I have ever met on planet Earth.
Okay.
Dude is so versatile. He hooked us up with Urban Outfitters, and we just launched round 2 in 500 Urban Outfitters with Rakeem.
Wow.
With his collab. This dude produces music, acts, does shows, writes the shows. I mean, like,
all through
he's
DM.
An artist. He does that. He just DM'd me one day, and I looked at his account, and I was like, wow, I fuck with this dude. And then I was like, hey, you should come by the office. And we just vibed, and I helped him build his business.
That's really cool, man.
He's killing it.
And what about, like, if people comment something negative, do you respond to it? Do you give a shit?
I used to respond big time.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I respond like in my notes now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean in your notes? You write it in your phone like...
Yeah, I have to write it, and it feels good. Yeah, it feels really good to write it. It feels really good to write it. You know how I learned that?
That's really interesting.
I actually was like writing a angry text to someone I work with.
Okay.
A co-business owner, not around to another business. And I sent it to another friend I have that has the same name. and my homie was like, I'm glad that I'm not the only person that you get mad at. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh shit, I sent it to the wrong person. I was like, I don't even feel like I need to tell so-and-so anymore. Because it felt so good just writing it and sending it.
That's really freaking interesting, man.
Yeah. So like I find myself just like sometimes I get frustrated with like my mom or anyone, and I'll write this whole angry ass text message, like a fucking paragraph, a whole storybook, and I'll just delete the whole thing and just move on.
I'm gonna do that.
Feels good.
So you would get into it with people and respond to stuff or comments. Would you let like?
Because everyone's so misled.
I know.
Like people trying to in the Nike days saying that I was backdooring my own shoe. That opportunity never existed.
Oh wow.
I was never an account for my shoes. I asked Nike if I could sell them. I couldn't because I was in the same zone as Undefeated and Chic Shoes and Palace or whatever the hell, Shoe Palace, and so I never got to sell my own shoes.
Interesting.
Also, like I just told you, I was given 500 pairs that I gave back away. And so people would be in the comments like all misled. And I'm even watching like sneaker blogs talking about this stuff. And I'm like, wow, these are becoming facts now just because I'm not opposing them. And then so I
responding.
Yeah, exactly. So then I would start responding to people. And then no one ever wants to like take truth at face value.
No.
You know what I mean? There's always like a story that someone can conjure up to make it seem like it didn't happen or 100%. Whatever. And I was like, you can't win with the internet. So I stopped.
Never win an argument on the internet.
I stopped responding. I'll respond to a few people here and there. I'll DM them. If I see a comment,
then they'll screenshot and say he responded.
If I get a comment I don't agree with, I'll hit someone and
you'll DM them.
We'll become like friends.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Actually have a conversation with somebody.
Dude recently was just pissed off. I saw him going in on my Instagram about how he was so mad about going through the horrific experience of the raffle for these shoes. And he's like, I have all your shoes. Like, I'm a huge fan. And I'm like, dope. And I looked in his Instagram and he did have all my shoes. But also, all my shoes have been available for damn near under retail the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You've had access.
Yeah.
I got one that's popping. I got my lean back.
Yeah, you got your
just
lean
like
back.
Fat Joe said.
Yes, you did.
Bro, like, how about a congrats?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I leveled with dude, and he was like, man, he's like, you're right. I'm just so mad right now. I'm salty I didn't get him. You created such a good shoe. Like, I'm just a fan. And that's when I was like, nah, you're straight, dude. I was like, I'm a sneakerhead too. I was like, that shit would piss me right off if I caught the L on Confirmed app, you know? Like, I'd be fucking pissed.
But the fact you responded
and
humanizes
that's
you.
what he said. He was like, thanks for responding. He was like, do you know if there's going to be a redrop? I was like, to be honest, I have no fucking clue. I'm going to push everything I can for a redrop.
Yeah.
No clue, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I try to be as human as possible with people, actually. Like, I really do.
But would you let, like, something negative fuck up your whole day? Like, one negative comment of 1,000 good ones.
I would, yeah.
Me too.
I would, dude. I get emotional. I get in my emotions.
Me too.
I take shit to heart because, like, I really try. Like I said about an hour and a half ago, like I'm not lazy, dude. I'm not a lazy person. I try. I really try. If I care about the friendship or impressing you, like I'm going to try. And so it's so disappointing when you try and then people are constantly beating that down and you're like, you have no choice but to feel emotional about it. You're like, I really tried.
Yeah.
My best. Everything I had.
Your best. Put your heart and everything in there.
And you hated it with 4 words.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, like that does feel shitty, but you get over it, right?
Yeah.
You know, you learn to get past it.
Are you an optimist or pessimist?
I like teeter in between.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I would like to say I'm an optimist and that be my 50% of optimism.
Yeah.
But also like in reality, probably a little pessimistic as well. Because I like to be real.
Yeah.
I like
so
to
like a realist.
I'm not like naive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's obvious outcomes to things. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, I hope this happens, when I'm like, dude, you're going to be so disappointed at the end of this. I've learned that the hard way. You know what I mean? Like, don't count your eggs before they hatch.
Chickens
is that what
before
it
they
is?
hatch.
Is it the chickens before they hatch? Don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just never works out good.
Yeah.
You know? So I just try to be real with shit, you know?
Okay. Any major regrets in your life?
Major regrets? Quitting soccer.
Okay.
Huge one. Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, big time. Like I feel like I could have been pro.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel like honestly I would have lived a less stressful lifestyle if I went pro in soccer than like starting a million businesses.
Yeah.
So like I would much rather be like on the soccer field, you know?
Yeah.
But
Max is in here now, but Max was an ill soccer player as well.
Damn, okay.
And then he quit to start skating too, just like you.
That's what I did too, yeah.
That's
when life goes downhill. No, I'm just kidding. Or uphill, you know?
I said that recently. I felt like I could have gone pro, and I regretted it recently a lot.
I think about it often. It's constantly on my mind. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about some daily rituals for you?
Can I give you one more thing I regret?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Not giving school more of a chance.
We talked about earlier, and it's not funny that we didn't go to college or didn't take school seriously. I agree with that.
It's like I would always, even back then, I was kind of like, fuck school. Like, no one needs that shit. Like, it's a scam, this and that. And now I look back and I'm like, yeah, no, you need that. You need to give it a chance. You have to give it the fair chance because it can turn into, look, you're not going to be a trillionaire because you went to school.
Yeah.
You're going to be a trillionaire because the people you met at school or because what you learned about yourself at school.
Yeah.
And so until you give it that full chance, you're never truly going to know. And you might backpedal another 5+ years to learn the things you could have learned just by going through school real quick.
That's really true.
I think it's important for people to hear, you know?
Yeah. How about music? Do you ever try to do music or rhyme or anything because you love music so much?
No, I'm like super not talented.
Okay.
I was grounded for a whole summer one time. I brought home all Fs on my report card.
Like
Dude,
me,
we
yeah.
got a lot in common, my
too.
guys. So yeah, brought home the all Fs. My dad, actually being the more serious one, did ground me the whole summer, but also told me it's only up from here, which felt good.
Okay.
Which was also true. But also I was grounded the whole summer, and I remember just being in my room and I was writing my own like rap song lyrics, but I was really just copying DMX.
Okay.
You know, and I was just like rewriting the lyrics of like every popular DMX song, like changing up a few lyrics here and there to like make me feel like it was my life. So that's
Did you record anything recorded?
No, hell no.
Okay.
I played cello actually in middle school only because you did not have to bring it home with you. That was a big deal. Because I saw everyone on the bus hauling their fucking violins and shit around, and I was like, hell no. So hauling their drums and shit, the big snare drum, carrying that thing. I was like, fuck that. My one friend's like, yeah, I play the cello. We leave it in the in the music room. And I was like, dope, sign me up for cello. That's mine. Terrible at it.
Oh, what about becoming a pro skater? No regret with that?
Nah, I didn't. I don't know if I had it in me really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, good skater.
I've seen you skate, man. Yeah,
not
man.
fearful and things like that, but also like I just don't know if I was able to like put myself through like the physical abuse. You know what I mean? Like, like I said, like I would get to points where I would just be crying because I couldn't do something, and I just don't know if I had what it took to be a pro skater in 2012 when like Ryan Sheckler's coming up and this dude's alling off of fucking houses over interstate highways, and you're like, yeah, it's fucked. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm just like grinding a 4-foot half pipe, you know? So like, all right, Shex, it's all you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
What is something you see yourself in the future working on besides sneakers?
In the future,
do you think about the future a lot?
Yeah, I do. I think for me, the future is like, honestly, it's like a family play. 6-year-old and 2-year-old.
Awesome family, yeah.
And
man.
so like, just want to spend as much time with family as possible. So really just like, I have a couple different like businesses going on right now, like a handful of them. And
one of them is vegan coffee.
Also like our, digital fashion project Mintage. But these are some things that like, I'm just putting everything I have into right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that I can like retire in the next 5 to 10 years and just be done.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is
how old are you now?
I'm 33 in March. So
333. Yeah.
Yep. And so like, I'm just really like, I'm putting everything I have into these to try to like push towards retirement in 10 years,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like being a dad is everything. Being a husband, all that. It's not you have a great family.
Yeah.
And
just be more present,
Be more present.
Yeah.
It's hard. Is it hard to shut off for you when you get home?
Yeah, 100%. I'm always on work schedule. You know what I mean? I constantly think about work all day, every day.
So even hard to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Do you sleep a lot?
Not really.
5 hours, 4 hours?
5, 6.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, tops. I find it hard to sleep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't sleep tonight if I didn't have to.
You could do all-nighters.
Oh, dude, for sure. Way too much going on.
Wow.
Like, so many things I want to do tonight. Like, right now, like, it is 6:30.
Yeah.
The night ends in, like, 5.5 hours, and, like, I just have so much I have to do. Not, like, work, but, like, for me.
Well, how about since the shoe just came out yesterday? Are you done stressing? Focus on the shoe.
Yo, honestly, I didn't stress this one that much. Dude, this one felt good.
Yeah.
We didn't do any marketing with it with Adidas. We didn't do any photo shoots. Dude, we didn't do shit.
You did a lot. You promoted it.
Bro, but I promoted it, but that's fun for me.
Yeah.
That's silly. That's fun in games.
It's easy.
You know what I mean? And like, dude, actually this one really set a new standard for us. Dude, we put like $0 into the marketing of this, and the shoe sold out.
Sold out yesterday.
So which means it's a great shoe. Which means that like the design
man.
like spoke volumes.
I love the design.
Which I'm like, dude, let's just keep this going. Talk about sustainability. I mean, shit, dude, we just turned and burned a product in no time.
Did you have any stress the day before yesterday about it?
A little bit, just because I hadn't done a shoe since my Hot Wheels one, and so I was excited. Like, this did have a lot of build up. Little nervous, but I was confident going into it. So,
yeah, man, congrats! It's incredible, man. So sleep's really important, man. You know that.
Yeah, I know it is.
Do you work out too?
I don't. So my goal in life is to become really scheduled with working out and like a meditation.
Okay.
It's two things I don't do any of. Okay. And I really want to do at least a little bit.
Yeah, you can get time out of the day for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you deserve that time for yourself. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
You look like a runner.
I could.
Yeah.
I could run. I'm always running around anyway, so I'm like in shape for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm pretty lean.
You've been the same with your whole life, always been lean?
Dude, always been lean. Always been a little too skinny. You know what I'm saying? Like, but lean. I'm just on the move. I'm very rarely you're going to be like, oh, Sean's been on the couch all day.
Yeah.
Nah.
And are you a healthy vegan or like a junk food vegan?
I'm more of like a junk food vegan,
Burgers, fries, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love all that stuff. I'm trying to get healthier, actually.
You have a carrot tattoo on your hand?
I do. Yeah.
I love that,
Love
man.
Carrots. It's losing all of its orange. It needs
carrots is so good. I love that.
I love carrots. God, they're good.
Well, thank you, man. This has been.
It's been
I'll make sure I covered everything. It was awesome to actually get to know you and sit with you and know you for all these years and everything you've done and put out in the world. I appreciate it.
No, thanks.
And hearing your story and let you talk, it's just
thanks.
Actually being like, you've done many podcasts.
This might be like my second one, third one. Like first, I wanted to say first, but I was like, no, I have done one. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing what you do in the future. And
thanks.
I'm stoked in these shoes I'm wearing right now. Like I'm wearing Adidas shoes. I have like 4 Nike tattoos.
You hear that, Adidas? We flipped them.
Yeah, I got 4 Nike tats. I'm wearing Adidas right now. It's
one person converted Adidas. Just saying.
But I appreciate you doing these for the vegans and everybody, man. It's an awesome thing, man.
Thanks for the support always, dude. It
This
means
is
a lot.
awesome. So people listen, you cannot get a shoe right now.
You can't.
It's gone. It's going to be on the resale sites and stuff.
Yeah,
and
they're up there.
And I'm psyched I treated myself to the original ones. And Max thinks I'm not going to wear them because it's sitting in there perfectly. You destroyed all my other ones. So, but thank you, man. It's great talking to you, man.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
This was awesome.
Thanks so much, yo.
Okay, bye. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. U.S., Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art peak-away laser technology. Cryo-technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out. Yo, people always ask me what kind of frames I'm rocking. I've been rocking Caddis for a couple years. They make amazing progressive readers, which I wear. Also, they make sunglass readers, anti-glare, anti-smudge coating, anti-scratch, anti-aging. That's why I look mad young when I wear them. I'm just kidding. But they make amazing frames. Caddis, so stoked to have you guys part of the podcast. You can go to caddislife.com/Toby10 and get $10 off your first purchase. Stoked. Thank you, Caddis. Welcome to the fam.